All right, we'll get 6 p.m. Looks like we have a quorum in the room, so I'll call the meeting to order. First, I'll take attendance and then I think we'll discuss, I went back and I looked, I know Michael Reese, let me know he was gonna be out of state. Asked if he could join on Zoom. And there was some discussion last time as to what the proper procedure is for that. And so I looked at the statute and we have to determine whether it's okay and, we have to have roll call votes, tonight if somebody's participating on Zoom. But anyway, let's take, looks like we have a quorum in the room. So John.
Yep, we're here.
I don't see Ellie. Ellie, are you here? I'm here. Stephen Freese.
Yes.
Mark Houston.
Yeah.
Sal.
Yeah.
Michael Reese, are you on?
Yes,
online?
I'm here.
Mike Sampson.
Yeah.
And Karen is absent because she's not feeling well. So before we go on to approve the minutes or anything that needs voting, I did take a look at RSA 91A, having to do with remote attendance at meetings. And what it says is that any board may allow one or more of its members to participate, subject to the paragraph. And so if we want to allow, like Michael, to participate on Zoom, we can. The chair doesn't have any more power than anybody else on the board, so it's a board decision and we speak as a board. Ellie, just so you know, I just started talking about the remote participation, bring you up to speed, and I'll see that you're. That's okay. We can allow one or more members to participate subject to this paragraph, but only when such attendance is not reasonably practical. So if somebody asks and I participate by Zoom, why can't they be here? There has to be a reason. It can't just be because I want to be at home and I'm eating supper. Michael Reese said he's going to be out of state on a family matter. I think that means that it's not practical for him to be here. Likewise, Karen's out sick. If she were on online, I would think that we would all think that it would be impractical for her to come in here and share her germs with us. So we have to make that determination. And then we have to the minutes have to reflect why it is that the person is participating remotely. So, yes, Ellie.
When I was a chairman, I allowed people to participate remotely without any question.
Yeah, so there's a statutory provision that I believe was added in the wake of COVID to address. Yeah.
I allowed Mr. Reese to participate remotely, and in 2019, Sadie Wells was chairman. She also did the same.
And I just want to make sure we're following the law.
Yeah, I understand, but nobody's ever objected before, so I just assumed that because we did it that way, it set a precedent, which is often recognized in the law too.
Yeah. Well, we are governed by the statute of the open meeting statute. So I would like, to the extent that I'm running the meeting here, I'd like to make sure we're satisfying the requirements because it has been raised and we don't do it often, but I do think because there's formalities, we should observe them.
Yeah, I just don't know. It's just how to phrase it. Somewhat arbitrary, I guess.
Well, the standard in the statute, Ellie, before you came in is that what's that?
It doesn't need a lot of discussion.
No, well, I know, but she's asking a question, so I'm gonna let her speak. Well, the chair doesn't have any more power than the committee. Yeah.
You know, good idea, we know the right.
I'm gonna ask if people in the quorum who have to be present agree to allow Mike Reese to attend remotely. He's given his reason is it has to be not practical for him to be here. He's out of state. So given that, does the board wish to allow Michael Reese to attend remotely?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I just want to make sure that the minutes reflect it.
We have to have a roll call.
We're supposed to, yeah.
Okay. I move that we let Mike participate because he's out of town.
Second. All right, John,
Let's make it more general that if somebody has a legitimate reason to be not here, they can attend it. Right? I mean, it's not just Michael, right?
anybody who has yeah, reasonably practical reason to not be here.
This is the part that bothers me. How far into somebody's personal life do we need to go? Because I have a medical condition that makes it difficult for me to be in this room in particular.
If you tell me that, Ellie, as far as I'm concerned, that means that it's not reasonable for you to be here. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole and interrogate people as to why it is. I don't think that, Ellie.
Because I just don't like to talk about my personal life because I don't want it to interfere with anything else I do, but sometimes I can't help it.
Mhm.
So sometimes I can only stand to be in here because of the chemicals in here. And I have to go home and take off all my clothes and leave them outside.
Understood, and you don't need to share those details with us, Ellie.
That's what.
Okay.
So it's not a sacrifice, but it's
That's what she would like to.
not easy to be here.
Would you like to go home and participate remotely for the, okay,
As long as I can.
okay,
But if I leave, I'll try not to be disruptive when I go,
okay,
but it will take me 10 minutes to get home.
no, understood.
So I won't be able to take during that 10 minutes
Oh, you're,
to get there.
you're about to take a roll call though.
Thank you, I know.
Okay.
Do you want to run the meeting?
No.
Okay, so,
Well,
Yeah.
raise your hand when you want to be acknowledged.
so, John,
I made a motion.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
will
second
amend it the way Steve wants to amend it, that's fine with me.
okay, so we got amended motion.
Second.
I'll second the amended.
The motion is that we will allow those who have a reasonable reason to participate remotely to do so. And that's the amended motion on the floor. We have a motion, move in a second, so I guess the first vote is to amend the motion, or do you want to just withdraw your first motion?
I withdrew it and replaced it with,
All right, John,
just,
yes or
I'll
no?
vote.
okay,
Roll call vote.
Roll call
all
vote,
right.
John.
All in favor?
yes. Ellie?
Yes.
I'm a yes, Stephen? Mark?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Mike Reese?
I had muted myself. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you very much. I'm sorry I can't be there, clearly.
Mike Sampson?
Yes.
All right, good, we have it, so, let the minutes reflect that, and we can move forward. We talked about that, I have other business on here, because if anybody's got any issues they want to raise, I want to just deal with it right now and not till the end of the meeting. So does anybody have any issues other than moving on to the minutes, or starting to jump back into the budget that they want to raise?
Yes.
Stephen?
I know Elliot addressed it at the meeting last time, but I think Mike owes Monica an apology for his behavior in his attacks personally on my witness. It went far beyond the budget of that department, the financials of that department, I think, so.
Anybody else want to speak to that? Mike, do you want to speak to that at all?
I'll speak to it briefly.
Yep.
First of all, I'll offer an apology to Monica just because I like Monica and I respect her. On the other hand, I think it was a legitimate issue to find out why I want 25% and get the answers.
Okay.
I think she's paid reasonably, as long as she's there the 1,000 hours, and I'm perfectly okay with it.
Okay. Have the minutes reflect the discussion, please? Anybody have any other comments on that? All right, thank you both. Moving on, we'll approve the minutes from December 20.
I have a couple of
You have
things that I want to
Some
check
corrections.
on. Yeah, I'm just not sure about how they read and stuff. Item number 4, select board recommendation highlights. Regarding work on paving roads, the select board there should be 200,000 for road reconstruction. I don't know where that is in the budget. Is it a warrant? for 200 or? The road reconstruction then, not the paving.
Yeah, this is the warrant articles that were proposed there, that we discussed.
Is that what it was?
Right,
It's
but-
unclear, just like the whole thing. but-
Well, we have a category in the highway crowd. Okay, highway,
Well, tonight there was a handout that does include a warrant article for 200 grand.
no, but that's not for, no, that's for highway equipment.
Private equipment.
You got that, you got 100 for paving. Right, so those are the two highway warrants that. There's three of them, but the third one is. Third one is equipment, yeah, so those are the three, so there's no warrant for the road reconstruction. There is a line item. Road reconstruction 0143123730. We have $100,000 in there. That says for gravel road maintenance. Michael?
I don't know that I really want to go back and look at previous iterations of the budget, but I think that the 100 and the 300 was the conclusion of that discussion. You know, I don't think that fits. I know we put more money into it. There was a discussion about putting more money into it. There's a total of $400,000 for the two lines for road reconstruction and
100,000?
that are in the budget.
That's a misprint.
So I don't believe that was approved by this committee. at the last
What was
meeting.
approved?
The 300 and the 100.
Yeah, okay.
The 300 and the 100 is different.
I
That's
believe-
paving.
I don't know where the 200 came from, but if Steve said it, then Steve can tell us where it came from.
Right.
And the only thing I can imagine is that ultimately we stepped over that recommendation, went right to the 400.
Yeah, well, okay, so what we have is, that's what I'm trying to get at is I know that, and then what he reads here for 300 total for paving. That would be raised in part by an article for 100. So that would mean that you were gonna have 200 in your budget and 100 by warrant.
Is that what we approved?
No, what I believe the intent is to have 300 in the budget. And 100 separate warrant, and the warrant is for paving and the 300 is for paving.
Because it was all as a warrant, originally it was all gonna be as a warrant, and because of concerns of it not passing and not being able to do any paving. We
Right.
split it up and put.
So I guess what I'm getting at is, I think it's, and we should probably have a discussion about it, but that's not in section number 4 here, 4A. I think the 300 should be 400,000 total for paving. That would be raised in part by warrant article for 100. So that would put 300 in the budget. And 100 in the warrant article.
Is
That-
that,
The intent wasn't to double fund it, was it?
Paving,
Not double funded. We-
Paving.
the Total amount.
talking
we
paving now, just paving.
Requested, it's.
Don't get the two confused. Go ahead.
well, I
Michael,
don't agree with it, but
what do you think that should be?
Well, but this should reflect what happened at the last meeting.
Is that what happened at the last meeting, I
That's
guess?
the question. I mean,
Yeah.
These words should reflect what we did at the last meeting.
Okay,
Not what we think it should be.
Right.
okay,
okay, so I don't know what anybody else voted for, but I voted for having 400,000 in the budget, like the two separate lines. That historically have been the same function. So that means that the board, anytime it wants to, can take money out of paving and put it in roads, and take money out of roads and put it in paving.
okay,
So that my assumption was that approving to go to 400,000
right,
was to move it from 200,000 2 years ago to 250 last year, to a total of 400 this year. Which I believe would obviate given the need of having another 100 in the budget, but it is, there's a
Right.
warrant article currently proposed for 100 in the warrant articles, is for 100,000 for paving. And there's now 400 in the budget for road reconstruction / paving.
right.
And I believe that was passed that way, I wrote it down that way, that it was gonna be 300 and 100.
Okay, so you would believe that there would be in the minutes somewhere that we did that?
Yeah.
Okay,
If there isn't, then
well, that's,
vote it. That's easy.
okay, so, right? That's what I'm trying to get at is, it doesn't, none of this stuff, it doesn't seem to jive to me. I can't find in the highway, in the minutes where we did that.
Ellie,
Yeah, if for anybody that has a question on some of the stuff that Community failed to, the videos are posted, of course, they're 3 hours long. But you can review the recording if you have a question, instead of just saying, well, this is what I remember, and somebody else says, well, I remember it differently. Then I think if you have an argument, you wanna bring it in here, I think you should look at the video.
So we could ask the minute taker to go look at the video and put in the minutes whatever the reality was.
If you think there was a motion, does anybody think there was a motion on that issue?
Yeah.
Because I think the word says, according to the warrant articles proposed by the select board. What I remember happening was Steve talking about it, and that's what I was capturing, so. if
No,
I-
I think to John's point is he believes that you've captured the conversation as best you
Yeah,
can, you
yeah.
captured it.
And you want me
Right,
to go and
yeah.
listen to it?
Right,
Right.
and I'm not denying that, I'm just saying that what I now look at, what I'm looking at, the numbers don't jive.
Yeah, then I would ask you to check the minutes for what the action of the budget could be, right?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with what anybody thinks. So that's everything.
Yeah.
So that would be the highway.
Yeah.
Section.
Budget, town administrator, government, cemetery, police, ambulance, fire.
But we can change anything tonight.
We
highway.
can, and we
Sure.
probably should, to the extent there's confusion as to what we
Right.
did,
Say 31.
to make sure we're all on the same page.
I suggest we just strike this, there should be $200,000 for road reconstruction. Because then it says the 300 and the 100 that you were talking about.
Michael has.
Just eliminate that section of it, the 200,000 mentioned, which is the first thing you read. On that.
Well, I'm happy to leave the minutes the way they are.
Oh.
I'm just raising the points, and they don't have to be changed in my mind, I'm not asking for change, I'm just raising it up.
Michael Reese, did you want to say something?
Well, thank you. I wasn't at the meeting, but in Carrie Ann's final recap, she put in there as 300,000 for paving, 100,000 for reconstruction, and 100,000 for warrant article. So I would think that she was on top of it. Like I said, I wasn't at the meeting, but I think that maybe that's what you all did decide, and maybe the minutes are just need to be adjusted. I don't know if anybody can comment on that. That's in the document that she just sent out last week.
Are there any other proposed changes to the minutes?
Do you have any others? So,
No,
anybody else
The way to approve the minutes is drafted.
has drafted?
Second.
All right, so all those in favor, we're gonna take a roll call. John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Abstain.
I'm a yes. Stephen, Freeze,
Same.
Mark Houston,
Yes.
Sal Percia,
abstain.
Michael Reese,
I have to abstain. I wasn't there.
Mike Sampson.
Yes,
All right. The ayes have it, they are accepted as drafted.
I remember something about the minutes.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I wanted to bring it
The
up.
property and liability number was incorrect because I was using the minutes to double check the changes I made in the spreadsheet.
6C. Is it, that's what we're talking about?
Is the. correct- hold on,
Oh, the number.
The insurance, property and liability in the minutes that had a different number, but in our budget, it's 89,412.
Okay, so perhaps what we do is revote on that number
As amended.
as amended.
I
That
didn't-
one I knew.
My notes that I put in the meeting, there was no change to it, but then when I was looking over the minutes, making the changes, I think the number in the minutes was just incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think we actually changed property and liability.
I felt it's the wrong number probably.
Make a suggestion, and I don't know if you have to adjust the minutes, can you just put it in this week's minutes?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can do that.
Do it that way?
Yep.
We don't have to go back and vote again.
I agree.
Okay.
Yep, good. So would you note that, Roger, that in this week's minutes, we noted that the number from last week's minutes was incorrect and that the correct number is $89,412.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, anything else on the minutes? All right. So getting right back into where we left off, I think we should maybe keep going with where we left off and then revisit. I know Mike Sampson has said that he's got some things he wants to talk about and others may as well. So then we'll kind of double back and go make those changes if we want to. And hopefully try to get this thing wrapped up. So I believe we were on. Anybody recall what, was it water and sewer?
Yeah, we probably have a hit library, it was on a reserve from last meeting, but let's get rid of water, so
Library, oh yeah, and I believe I got an email
Yeah, there was some correspondence.
correspondence about the library, the request being, I think what. Was it last year's funding plus whatever the increase, is that what she said?
yes.
Yeah. And is that what we had anyway?
Yeah.
The wage lines were kind of off, because, when I sent this out for the first time, we had one payroll left. And based on those numbers, like the library full time was already at 57,000, and we had budgeted 58,000.
Okay.
And we still had one more payroll cycle to go on that one, so I calculated the actual and put that in the 24 budget. And I did that also for part-time.
Okay, so those numbers that we have here have been adjusted accordingly.
Yeah, and I updated the 2023 expended column, and those numbers still had one more payroll to run.
Mike?
I was asked to check with both Amy and, with, Angie. And Amy talked with Angie, and both of them confirmed that they wanted the same amount for personal services as last year, plus the 2.8%.
Okay.
So if you take the number, it was 155,860, and that included everything last year. So theoretically, at least they ought to go 2.8%. And I had on the spreadsheet I circulated a tab called library, and I looked at all sorts of ways of calculating. But it's what they asked for was last year plus 2.8%. Last year being not what was actually spent last year, but last year what they budgeted. They didn't want to have to degrade service because the spending wasn't exactly what it was supposed to be.
And so is the number on the sheet that Carrie Ann sent out reflective of that?
I don't know, I'll come back and go through water and so on.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's right after library, right? Anybody have any questions, comments? We're starting, that's on page. Is that page 11?
Weird.
Oh, on this new one, it is page
Oh, new one.
14. Ellie, did you get a copy of the printout that Carrie Ann? Okay,
Yeah, I can't, I don't have, what is it?
so,
But I can, because he converted it to PDF. And Gloria's spreadsheet probably. And I can, but I can read it, I can read what Carrie Ann sent me, but I can't print it.
Grand 159. 537.05.
What do I need to have, like?
I'm on, page 13. Take all the numbers for personnel and benefits and compensation. And, the amount from last year was, 155,860 times 1.28.
did you say page 13?
Yeah, well.
Well, the handout tonight, it says page 13.
Are you on the library or you on what?
I'm on, what do you want?
Well, you told us to go to water and sewer.
I didn't know we actually.
Okay.
I was like, I was gonna.
Mike, we follow your direction.
So if you're doing the library, there's more money on page 14.
Yes, all right, so. You want the library now? That
Yeah, let's do library, get it over with, will you?
Okay, so
What do you got
Mary-
first?
Mary Ann's is 159, 537. You remember, 05. And what they asked for is 160,224.08.
You're just talking labor? Is that what you're doing?
Everything that's personnel, so it's all the labor and all the benefits.
Oh, okay.
But did you do the line items? Like it was budgeted for the library full-time 58,000.
No, because of the past, it was always done is all personal service.
Okay, so should we lump that into one line?
Ultimately, it's not gonna make any difference.
Okay,
I either leave it the way it is, but you gotta go up by, take the original numbers that were in play.
yeah,
From last, I got them, nobody else. Said that.
58,000, yeah.
And then multiply it by 0.028, and that'll give you the number.
028. Okay,
That's what the first 8 lines, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's salary, full-time, part-time, health benefits, life benefits, FICA, retirement, unemployment, workers' comp.
so all those numbers would go up.
Now, maybe not.
All right,
The medical insurance is, I think, went up in your version, Carrie Ann, this time.
I think it's like 10.
I think it went up a little bit. It went up like 500, 600, so that one ought to be adjusted.
Right, but-
You don't have to apply the, which might make it pretty damn close to what Carrie Ann has.
right. So 58,000 was the budgeted number for the library full-time salary. Right, last year, so that would be 59,624. If you multiplied it by 1.028.
Yes, Carrie Ann?
I just wanted to put it on the record that the 2023 budget is overexpended in the full-time and part-time wage line. So we can, I'm just giving you the
Gotcha.
expended amount for future budgeting.
So Karen, did you add, to get to the 60,066, did you take the actual spend plus that point?
Yeah. I looked at how we've been spending, rather than what we've been budgeting.
So,
But what they asked for is the budget from last year plus the 2.8. So we should give them that unless they got a reason to do it different.
Well, ultimately, it's not gonna make any difference if you lump it all together effectively. So the way it works is they get a lump sum that goes to the library. It's up to them. If they wanna manipulate it back and forth, then they can do
yeah, that's a big question.
it. My job was only to find out what they want, and what they wanted was last year's supposed to.
But if they overspend that, where does that money come from?
It comes from other lines within their budget. It's like a non-lapsing account for a library. They just do a transfer. It's up to them.
Ellie?
Yeah, a couple questions. So how many more payrolls do we have here in, for, 2023? Do we have any more personnel costs for the library that are not posted on here?
There was one outstanding payroll when I emailed the budget committee. We processed it this week.
Oh, okay.
The end of the payroll date was 12/31.
Because it looks like they have $4,600 left according to this spreadsheet that we just sent out. So I don't know if that will make it over and extended or not.
Yeah,
And my other question is, why, most of these things I thought were pretty well tracked. So if we've overextended the budget this year, I think we ought to figure out why. Is it because they got more of a raise than was put in the budget last year? Was the budget wrong? Did the library increase its hours? Did they adjust? I think they only have one full-time person anyway, so if somebody was out, do some of the part-time people have to make up the difference? I want to know why it was overspent, because I wouldn't know where to start the budget. I don't know if we go with Carrie Ann. Based on the actual.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you still can't overspend the bottom line irregardless, so you have to have enough money somewhere else in the budget. If you can't cover the labor cost, you gotta use it, come up with it someplace else.
You were addressing the first question, Carrie, what was the first question?
Well, I just wanted to know if there was another payroll being
Oh.
posted for 2023.
And there was, so yesterday we ran payroll and I posted everything and I got the actuals today.
So the white sheets are what, missing one, or they are
One
all here?
missing.
Missing one, okay.
I'll do all on Thursday.
Yeah. Mike?
Again, it's a moot point. And frankly, even if they overspend it, the budget is $200,000 and they overspend it by $5,000, as long as they get funds in their non-lapsing accounts. They can spend it. They have almost more authority than almost any other department in the state.
So the library has other money then that they can use?
They do.
Oh, okay, all right, good point.
Which is on the income side, you also have to put in, which isn't in there yet, the income from the library, because all the miscellaneous income has to be posted into the general fund. And it shows up on the statement. And it should be somewhere around $14,000 a year that needs to go into the income side.
So for purposes of tonight, then, I guess the question before us is, even if we don't have the actual number, well, we would have it, right? I mean, is this bottom line number is what they're asking for, or are you saying, Mike, that it's not? This 90,
Not, it's lower because they asked for the 58,000, what they had budgeted this year plus 0.28,
okay, so that would,
0.28.
So why don't we just give them what they asked for?
That's what we should be.
I second that.
Regardless of the spending.
So why don't we take the 58, multiply it by 1.28, put that number instead of the 60? And the 52 would multiply it by 1.208 and stick it in the library part-time. And then we're
That's a
done.
motion. I gave you the second.
Okay,
So what's the line, what's the old number for full-time?
the old number was 58,000 was budgeted in 2023 for the line
Exactly.
library full-time.
Exactly 58,000?
Yep. That's what it says here.
I did the math, right?
Right, so 59,624 would be the right math.
Yeah,
So you got,
Yeah.
okay,
And then 52,000,
And then 52,000 times 1.028 is 53,456.
It's contaminated. I'm getting over
What? We got any more sheets?
so these are gonna be struck then and reduced.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we're saying. And then everything else will recalculate, right? Because the FICA will change, correct? So we don't have to worry about any of that.
well, the numbers are being, you should know what the numbers are, so.
Yeah. So we don't have a bottom line number tonight that we can vote on, essentially.
you will in a second, just. hang on this. Yeah, the spreadsheet I'm using updates the FICA and retirement. So it's 59,624, and the first line 53,483.8, and the second line. Health benefit stays at 26,239.50. Does that sound right to you, Carrie? Yeah, 113 for life benefits, 86,52.75 for FICA. And 8,068.94 for retirement. And unemployment in workers' comp stays at 97,261. The bottom line is 196,898. Yep, 196,898.28.
for the first 8 lines.
Yeah, that's the whole,
The whole schmear.
You took the changes in the first 8 lines and then added them to the
well, I
overall.
didn't change it, most of it,
Right.
I just changed it.
So
Change FICA and retirement.
I'll make a motion that we approve 196,898.28 for the library budget.
Again. I think you said 196.
96, 196.
Yes, I did, 898.20.
Got it?
I'll second that.
Get a motion in a second. Any further discussion on this? All right, we'll take a vote. John,
Yes.
Ellie, Nate, I'm a yes, Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal,
Yes,
Mike Reese,
You,
You're still muted, Mike.
Mike Sampson,
Yes, yes.
and Mike Sampson?
Yes.
All right. Yeses have it.
Did Ellie vote?
Huh?
Did Ellie vote?
yes.
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 Cool. Well, thanks.
All right. Moving on to sewer. Anybody have any comments, questions, changes, post changes?
Move the way to adopt the 128, 858.
Second that.
This is for the sewer. It's right at the top of the next page.
Yeah, I see it on the- I just had a question, it's probably been dealt with before, but I didn't know if anything was changing. Do we actually have full-time people working in the water department, or do we just have one?
one, but we're seeking another,
So,
need the money to pay them.
so there should have been money, so how long has it been since we didn't put out two?
Well, we actually didn't move to be transfer funding.
Because we only got 7,7,600.
We only worked a part of the year in water and sewer, he did not work a full year, and then, so he was in part-time. The goal this year, coming forward, was to move into full-time in water in preparation of John retiring, so.
There is money left, Ellie. It shows $7,600 left of that
Yeah,
money.
that was probably a bit more than that. But when did he get done?
Well, that's one department. You got water and sewer. He's good.
Carrie Ann?
About 12,000.
The wages and water sewer used, April first as the full-time start date. 'Cause at the time, he was still gonna be plowing through the winter.
So it was really quarter time because it was only gonna be working water sewer during the summer. During the winter, he was gonna be working full-time back at the fire, at the highway, so.
Say to answer your question, Ellie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second Mike's motion to approve that 128, 858.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Yes, Mike?
I asked at the last meeting, we get the revenue for water and sewer. We can't see whether this is a real budget or not, because we don't know if we have the water and sewer revenue for the year. This is a non-lapsing enterprise account.
The bills haven't come out yet for this month either.
Doesn't make any difference, Ellie. If you take it straight on what days the revenue comes in, you had part of 2022 that appeared in 2023.
Okay.
So the long and short of it is, how much actual cash do we bring in a 12-month period? From fees. So,
Can you get that tomorrow night?
I don't, I'm gonna vote in favor of it. But I'm pointing out that we really need to see it.
Is that something we can get tomorrow night, Carrie?
Are we meeting tomorrow? I mean, I guess we should,
Or at our next meeting?
Yeah.
and I'm happy to meet tomorrow night if we want to, but I don't want to if we don't need to.
This week's been sketchy and year end. I can try my best based on what tomorrow looks like.
So what's the next meeting after tomorrow?
That's the 10th. And then the 11th.
I won't go for the budget. We gotta see. But it's
Well,
not.
we have to put that budget in there regardless.
Yeah.
So we have to have,
We gotta get the revenue at some point in time.
well, it has to go on there at 7:37, so if they're not there, then we can't find it.
I don't know how the new system works, but it takes a grand total of 8 minutes to run. You do 4 counts, hold it out for regular day, 4 counts, and that's the number.
I believe you.
We needed a call too, you know,
Actually,
your audit.
yeah, you could do it.
We should have it tomorrow, too.
Bless you.
I didn't do it. Well,
So it sounds like we need to meet tomorrow, even if it's just for a short period of time then. right?
It's, yes,
Yeah.
it's the only reasonable way to do it.
Yep.
Well, Jack, was Jack here?
Jack is here.
Just as a question, when are you planning on holding a public hearing for the budget? Which,
The 11th.
It's posted. For 6 months.
We usually,
and who on the committee is in charge of posting the notice? Because you gotta get that notice posted pretty soon. Okay. For the budget hearing?
January 11th, 7:30
Okay,
PM.
all right, good.
Kelly is nothing but official.
All right.
But don't take it down.
3 cheers for Ellie.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
So we make a note, because I want to decide whether we're gonna convene tomorrow night or whether it's something we can do before we go over the warrant articles, which I imagine there's quite a few. What's that?
January 10th.
January 10th, right? So let's make a note. So we want the revenue for the water, for the sewer and water, right? We're gonna need all of them. I mean, you're gonna want to.
You're gonna need all the revenue items. Yeah, we need to review the
Yeah.
revenue chart.
Yeah, yeah. So we need to go over that. And I suppose,
Well, let's go through the rest of the stuff we gotta go through
Yeah.
tonight, and maybe other issues that we gotta meet.
but that's one to write down, to remember. Okay,
So somebody, I'll move approving the numbers so you do revenue.
okay. So do you want to withdraw the motion and
You know, who made the motion?
make a new motion with the caveat?
Well, you can move it tonight and you can change it tomorrow night.
Okay, I'll make it for the third time. I move that we approve the 162,002.72,
Oh,
subject to, review and revenue committee.
We still have the 128.
Yeah, we haven't voted on that yet.
right, you haven't voted on the 28th, that's right.
I'll shut up.
You gotta vote for it.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second on the table, a discussion for 128,858-38.
Okay. Is that what you got, Roger?
That's
All right,
where
good.
we are.
So, John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Abstain.
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal,
Yes,
Michael Reese,
Yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes,
and I'm a yes. So. You get all that?
Now
Now we're at water, and I believe the discussion was gonna be the same, right? So, subject to revenue?
Yeah.
So are you making a motion on that?
Yeah.
Mike? Okay, I'll second that. So a motion on the floor and a second to approve the 162,002.72, subject to revenue. Seeing the revenue. Any other discussion on that? No, all right. Roll call, John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Abstain.
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
yes.
Sal,
yes.
Mike Reese,
yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes,
and I'm a yes. Okay. That it?
Do we do the CMS business?
Did we do that before? Okay, an emergency,
Oh, the ambulance. I don't, the resident enterprise fund is brought.
it is.
okay. So it looks like, okay,
Well, certainly an opportunity to ask any questions people may have about the city on this budget.
All right, so we're gonna do CEMS.
Yep.
Yeah.
moving on to
Good.
EMS. It looks like,
Which means we also need to see the revenue for that one.
is this the one where I actually learned last year that we make money transporting people using the ambulance?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Well, we charge money.
We charge whether we make money or.
We receive some.
Yeah, well,
We need money transporting patients. We don't make money on that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, private transport.
Yeah.
I have a question about it that came up recently. It's one of the things I was just saying, was look at the current sheets numbers, which I did. The CEMS manager salary. I'm curious of who's getting it. Because originally, this is like a year and a half ago at this point, I was supposed to be going to the chief. I'm thinking it may not be. Karen, you know who gets that money?
No, I think it's all fire chief. So we decided to allocate 40% to building inspector, so it changed all the numbers.
Last year or this year?
In 2023, we started allocating based on how much time he was spending doing the different things.
So
Yeah, we'll do it on the-
I also want to bring up now, just because we're talking about seeing that,
Yep.
you know, much to the town's management's chagrin, John tendered his resignation last week, from all 4 positions that he was filling.
Hmm.
You know, I want to thank him personally for his many years of service in emergency services. We did have several emergency meetings last week with, Ricky and Hugh and Jordan. We feel confident that emergency services are covered, in town. We're gonna struggle with building inspector. You know, Bill's spent quite a bit of time with that, and we need to fill that spot ASAP. We're working on that. We have not finalized the plan going forward, but I think we're gonna split off, we're gonna look, because emergency services covered with the current staffing we have there, to cover any kind of emergencies we have, according to the team there. So we're having another meeting with their group tonight. Buildings inspector, we're gonna be looking for a part-time building inspector, and it'll probably be a split position, so there's fluctuation, we still need the money for that position, but it's not gonna be one person like it was, so. But again, I can't reiterate enough that, you know, I want to thank John for his many years of dedication to the town, so.
Sure. And was that money for that part-time position, is there money in here now for
Yeah,
that?
so there's a building inspector, line for it.
Okay.
And so the salary was split, it was split out in there.
Okay,
I don't like this.
Yeah, but I just wanted to clarify, so I can
yep,
remember.
go ahead.
The 4 positions, it's, fire chief.
Right.
He worked on the ambulance.
Yep.
The building inspector and emergency management, those are the, okay, so those things, all those 4 lines, there's 4 separate lines for those separate things. So it's all being allocated, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
He has another job, which is not in the budget. It's a floodplain administrator.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, we
there's-
don't have a line.
There's people building stuff in the floodplain, so we need to do something.
Yeah. What's just make it to boat registration, the.
the river might take care of it. Mike?
That's good. I'm going to try to tactfully ask a question. Jordan is operations officer, not,
Which is director of operations.
yes, correct.
For EMT.
Does she get, I know she gets, I think she gets paramedic pay. Does she also get some type of compensation for having that other title? I don't need to know how much, I just need to know if it's been recognized.
What's the other title?
Operations manager. So she gets a rate of pay that's paramedic pay. She would have gotten the advanced EMT. But now she's getting the paramedic pay.
Her pay went, I believe her pay went up when she got certified as a paramedic level, so, yes.
So that compensates enough for it. I just want to make sure it's compensated. She's
Yeah.
okay. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't really have any other questions on the whole thing there. Other than I believe that there has been changes made because of the, and Melania says IFTs. That's the cost of doing the private transport. So I think that the budget covers all that stuff to go back and forth. And I did go through this with John 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And I think he went through it as well too. This does have capital reserves set aside. What that really boils down to is they don't spend 50,000, it's maintained in the account. To increase the balance, to make the balance available for ambulances. It's just like water or sewer, if you have a budget of 100 grand, you take in 150. And you don't, if you only spend 100 grand, 50 stays in the account, it doesn't go away. Same thing is true with the ambulance account. If they were to bring in 150,000 for private transport, that 150 stays in their account, does not go away. And this was approved by the voters about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, we ready to approve the budget number?
I moved the number of 562, 947, so,
563.
563, 326, 51 is what I'm looking at.
no, I didn't look this, whatever, somebody else make the motion.
I'll make the motion. Make a motion to approve the budget number 563, 326, 51 cents.
Second, 2 more seconds. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Oh, all right, proceed to vote. John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Abstain.
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal,
Yes.
Mike Reese,
Yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes,
and I'm a yes. All right,
and the difference is in the health insurance, yes.
well, that's the back page of what I've got.
So let's go up to the front line
Go to
again.
the front line again and
Go through from the top to the bottom and see where we get.
see if there's any, because we voted on a lot of these numbers. And then there was some subject to some changes, so I don't want to revisit things if we don't have to.
Right.
So I guess starting from the top, let's start just on page 1. Does anybody recall or have any any changes that we punted basically until further meetings on this page?
Yeah, I have a note that the administrative support number needed to be reviewed again. I don't know why, but just had a note that we were looking to review that for some reason.
Was that the FICA the FICA?
No, not the FICA piece.
calculations, no?
No,
What are you talking
The
about?
22,537,
yeah. Anybody,
What line are you talking about?
10, 110.
my recollection was that the request was made to keep it high because we don't know what the new town administrator wants,
okay,
so. I
Then-
supported leaving it the way it was.
that's fine, great. And then the other thing is I think we did agree that the note that's in here was for one, it says one elected official historian, and it was actually one appointed official.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, that's the historian, correct?
Correct,
Yeah, she's not elected.
right. So we just need to change elected to one appointed historian.
And that's not having to do with an expenditure, so we
No,
don't need to vote on
it's just-
that, right?
No,
The second line before under.
we don't want to confuse ourselves.
No.
That's all I'm getting at. So could you change that to? Yeah, thank you.
All right.
And the only other thing I have is, Carrie, and this is a thing for you. It would be great if we could have all of the FICA meds actually have a formula in there instead of plug numbers. Because if we ever change the salary, just for your own, when like Mike Flood does his thing, it changes. So if you ever get a chance to get around to it,
Well, I emailed Nate, Mike Sampson, Jack, and even our entire personnel budget with all the calculations months ago.
no, I'm talking about in this spreadsheet. Yeah, in this spreadsheet, the way it works is we have a salary. And then you have a FICA Medicare calculation. Sometimes it's a plug number. You just plug a number, you're plugging a number. Like in this one, it's 172,409 plus 754.96.
It's plugged from the personnel budget.
I see.
Email, we scrubbed out all the names, so it was confidential, we sent it around. And then I was leaving it up to Nate to share at that point.
Ah, okay.
Does that have a formula that automatically calculates the
It has
deductions?
all the formulas for everything,
Yeah.
and then there's.
So
even
the answer is
one for
yes.
the total employee.
These numbers represent the formula work that comes off the personnel spreadsheet.
Mhm.
Is that-
Unless, you don't have the changes in the personnel station.
Unless,
The
correct,
correct number on that
Correct.
one is 2458.49. As opposed to what's in there, which is 247905, and frankly, I wouldn't give it. It's close enough.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that the point is, from a consistency standpoint. Right, if it was just a straight calculation off of the salaries, we wouldn't have an issue. Right now, we have an issue.
I understand.
Okay. So I'm not quibbling over a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
of $100 bucks.
No, I
I'm just
understand.
saying from a,
Yeah.
go ahead, Mike.
Case in point. The number that's in here was based on the selectmen getting paid 9,600 plus.
Right. And we changed that
So
and it
if you
changed
don't
the,
go back and change that.
Yeah. it's just more, it's just easier. I think it'd be easier for you.
My rule of thumb is if it's less than $100 a month.
I don't care. It's like, it's just something. Okay,
I understand.
Are these linked to that other spreadsheet? Like,
I don't know how they got it done.
I dumped everything into a pivot table and then hand copied it over. And we have the software for next budget season.
that's right. I remember you had said that this next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This is a more manual process.
All right, so I'm just raising the point and leaving it alone. I'm good with that.
So actually,
Go
on,
ahead.
on that, with the format that we've kind of seen this year be a similar product that the software puts out for next year so that it's familiar, is that?
Yeah, you can actually look back into the history, run reports in Excel,
Yeah.
everybody, like we can give access to whoever we decide to give a username and password. It's not like right now I'm the bottleneck to the information.
So we'll, next year we'll have Excel sheets just the same, only they'll be generated from this program rather than from you.
Where you can just log in yourself.
Look at it. Gotcha, cool. I remember that discussion at the beginning of the season that this was gonna happen, so. Okay, cool.
So I have nothing else on that one.
Kind of moving down.
I have, down to what the TCTX, whatever that is.
Tax collector,
Yeah, we had thought that we were gonna have $1 in most of these things that should have $1, and I don't know which one should and which one shouldn't, but.
The interware fees, in case that if we ever had to pay for it again, it was $1 that we put in, but again, I think it's unlikely we're gonna need it.
Right, say, how about the equipment and marriage copy vitals?
Yeah,
Those are empty.
that's an
Yeah.
in and out account,
They're empty.
So
that's an in and out account, I think we have to.
I would move to add $1 for equipment of the marriage copy titles.
Second that,
so that would be for three of these, $1, two, just two, we're gonna leave
Has it.
the interware fees, gonna leave that blank.
Why don't we move putting $1 in every blank line?
we have already
That's
done
what we're
that.
Getting rid of, Jan.
But it doesn't matter if you put $1 in, I mean,
I know,
Means that she's got to carry that account. So you've got an account that's in there for 5 years ago that will have to carry for the next.
That she doesn't need.
It's got $1.
That's the
You look
interware
at-
fees.
All right, just take a
I
while.
retract.
Let's just go through it.
those, the equipment event, I take a vote.
On the, so what, restate your motion? I didn't,
$1.
$1 in the,
Equipment and marriage to equipment and then marriage.
740 and 820.
okay,
One.
all right, we got a motion to second. Take a vote, John?
Yep.
Ellie?
No,
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes,
Mike Reese?
Sure.
Mike Sampson?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. So I guess we need to add $2 to that bottom line.
mhm.
So I'll make a motion that we approve 132, 536,
So
oh, do we add?
we're gonna have $1 on their interware fees. Do you show that or not?
No. We didn't make it, we
All
didn't
right,
include
get
that in
rid
the
of it.
motion.
Leave it alone. That's fine. Yeah, sure.
All right, so 132, 536, 30. That's my motion.
Second,
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, we'll vote. John?
Yep.
Ellie?
no,
Stephen?
Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah.
Sal?
yes,
Mike?
Yes.
And Mike, sorry. He's on
Mike,
there.
Mike,
Mike, and I'm yes. All right. That passes. All right, moving on.
voting machines, is that supposed to be 7 or was it 9? I can't remember where we wound up. Mike,
It moved back and forth. The
Yes.
last iteration I saw in the minutes was 7.
7, okay, all right, then I'm good with that.
And when I did this, I went through all the minutes.
Yeah.
At least 3 or 4 meetings back.
I think I might have had a comment that it might be better to make it 9, because I'm thinking the price of these, as I understand it from the demonstrations, is 8.
Hmm.
So that's, I think I mentioned that 7 didn't seem like enough based on the fact that I had just been with the representatives for the demo sections with
Right,
the
so-
pricing,
So
so.
maybe we should revisit that as what we're,
I'll move to change the 7 to a 9,000 on the voting machine.
I'll second that.
Ellie?
Yeah, I still have issues with the cost of elections this year, because this is 4 elections this year, and last year we only had 1. And it just doesn't make sense to me that we would spend less than twice what we spent last year. Now, I don't know if it's what the town clerk
Motion
asked
that's on the
for,
floor.
but I just want it on the record that I don't think, I just personally, I common sense tells me that that can't be right.
So we have a motion on the floor. Are you proposing to amend that motion, Ellie, or you? Okay, so it's just for discussion? Anybody else have any further discussion on
Motion.
the motion, which is to accept the 15, but is that right?
No,
No,
go to
I'm sorry.
9,000.
9,000 for the voting machines?
17,550.
So,
Do the 9,000.
all right, we're voting on raising that line item to 9,000. We'll vote. John?
Yep.
Ellie?
No.
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes,
Mike Reese? Mike Sampson?
Yes.
Mike Reese?
Yeah, I'm trying.
And I'm a yes. Okay, so that
Oh.
changes the bottom line number to well, it's just $17,550. So I'll make a motion that we accept $17,550 as the bottom line for elections.
second.
Any further discussion on that? All right, we'll move on to vote. John?
Yep.
Ellie?
Oh, I thought we already voted.
It changed the bottom line numbers. Yep.
Okay, oh, so we're voting on the line.
Yep.
I like to vote. I vote no on the bottom.
Okay. Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes,
Mike Reese?
what's he doing over there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Mike Sampson?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, okay. That passes then.
My screen was freezing.
Oh, all right.
Not that cold.
All right, any other, moving down?
We got nothing on finance. Anybody else?
No,
Well.
do we need a
If we
dollar?
had 3 lines in the budget last year, are we gonna have 3 lines this year? You're doing a budget committee?
No,
No.
Oh, sorry.
Onions.
Sorry. Got ahead of myself.
We don't have to, we already approved this.
yeah, so I'm just going down to see if people have changes. I don't want to revisit lines that we've already voted on,
And I
unless,
agree with John, if we're on budget, we gotta add 2 more ones.
okay. So budget committee, we're gonna move to add a dollar in each of those lines.
Mhm.
Ellie?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak to this, because that last line, the third line in the budget committee, that used to be used for training. And although nobody has gone lately, we have added money for training for other people in town government, and I think that we should reinstate that amount, whatever it used to be. In case you've got an actual budget committee member that might actually want to go to training. But I think if we have put it back to 200, that it would be at least $1 in there.
Okay.
Because if we can train the town clerk, you know, and that, it's way less money than any other town employee gets for training, and since we don't get a salary, I think we should deserve to at least get some training.
So do we have a motion on the floor?
Yes,
In a second,
yes,
to add $1.
to both of those.
Okay,
But previously, we had 130.05 last year. And it was FICA/med. Shouldn't we have something that's like 130 plus year?
Because he isn't, he's
He's
contracted.
an independent.
He's not a, okay,
Well, let's intend to get a new administrator.
In which case we'll have to steal money from highway or someplace.
That
We
eighteen
won't,
hundred.
they'll have to steal money.
That 1800 is low, by the way. Just, I mean, it's a sort of by the agreement, but you're doing way more meetings. And particularly this year, your meetings are way longer. I haven't added it up, but I know you can see it was more.
It's been almost double that.
23 or whatever that was, 22, 3,900. Which is almost double.
In that case, should we increase it?
You have a recommendation on a number there, Raj?
$10,000.
We spent $4,000.
What about the entertainment level?
Does that include food services?
I will do an increase it to 4,000.
Okay, so we have a motion on the, we have a motion on the floor on the $1, so let's dispose with that.
For each.
In the two blank lines, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a vote, John,
yes.
Ellie,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal,
Yes.
Mike Reese,
Yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes,
and I'm a yes. Okay,
I move we increase the administrative support to 4,000, that's what we spent.
4,000 plus the 2, so that would make it $4,002.
Yep.
All right, so is your motion to,
You gotta do the 4,000 first.
actually, I guess we have to do that line item first.
Yeah.
So motion on the floor is to increase the minute takers fee from 1,800 to 4,000.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, I'll try to speak less. The meetings won't go as long.
All right,
Send you a
We're-
bill.
we're voting on the line item, 4,000.
We're voting on Mike speaking.
John,
It's too early to get giddy. Come on.
Ellie? in the top line, yep, just the 4,000
4,000.
first. Yep. Okay, Stephen,
Yes.
Mark?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Mike Reese?
yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes,
And I'm a yes, so yes has it. And now I'll move for the adjusted bottom line, which would be what,
4,000.
$4,802, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right,
4,002.
$4,002.
Did you get dinner before you?
And, beef jerky. Second, all right, we got a motion and a second. Any further?
Yes.
Huh?
And a yes,
Yes.
John's a yes, Ellie,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Mike Reese,
yes,
Mike Sampson,
yes,
and I'm a yes, all right.
should we change that third line to budget committee training or budget committee miscellaneous or something other than just budget committee?
Sure, miscellaneous sounds good to me.
Got a MISD.
I'll move it.
We need to move it for that?
No,
No.
call it something, just laying us in front of me.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Treasurer, anybody got any changes to that?
No,
Trustee of the trust funds?
$1 under legal.
Second.
All right,
Where are we?
Wouldn't you do a joint motion where you modify both lines at once? Move to put the dollar in and move to.
yeah, I don't see why we couldn't do that.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
What's the motion?
So if we're making a line adjustment, we adjusted the base bottom line.
Oh, okay.
Cut the number of roll calls in half.
Change the number to $958.32.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All right, John?
Yes.
Ellie?
Yeah.
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Mike Reese?
yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes,
And I'm a yes. Moving on, to
TH.
TH,
What is TH?
Town Hall.
and the only comment on that is that this is an example where there's 3 lines in there that should disappear. Administrative assistant, FICA, and service contracts. So I don't think we have to do it in the other two.
Okay.
Well, why is that employment of workers' comp in there if there's no employees?
Good question, Ellie.
Well, we allocated that everywhere else,
Right.
so I don't even understand why this section is there.
It was the handful of employees that all fall under the town hall department, tax collector. There's so many new, like I can break them out if you want, but it was gonna be an additional 10 lines. There's 5 departments in town hall.
Let's see what it looks like. I wouldn't change the budget. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, and in there, we have a note, waiting on Town Bridges phone system, VoIP phone. Phones.
And that ties into the police department as well.
Right.
Is there any reason from the town's point of view, administration's point of view, that needs to change under hardware upgrades of that line?
Not at this point. No, I think that,
And keep in mind, you always. move
Yes, I
the
understand.
budget.
I think our intention is to save expenses on the current system. Incur some expense to replace it. But the net between historical expenses and what we'll need for the upgrade is safe.
Oh, well, you need to post about police department, which I think.
All right. So no proposed changes? Assessing, any changes there?
We got 2 items at the very bottom that have nothing in them,
Yep.
capital
The
reserve.
capital reserve shouldn't have something in it.
Good.
It should. It should.
Well,
You can't fund from.
oh, right, we can't, yeah, okay.
So that one's got, I got a strike through on that line. Yeah. For capital reserve.
So we
It
should
be a
re-
dollar on the assessing fee.
Well, DRA doesn't-
And I've got a dollar. I don't know if anybody else has got it.
Not on the sheet. All right, so make a motion, Mike, for the dollar.
Yep.
And then and change the number to 143, 470, 75.
So dollar goes in assessing,
Yes,
okay.
We get a motion and a second on the floor. Everybody hear it? Anybody need to be repeated? Okay, any discussion? All right, we'll move on to voting. John?
Yes.
Ellie?
Yeah,
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
yes.
Mike Reese?
Yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
You included the bottom line? of
Yep.
that motion. Thank you.
Yep.
Did that.
All right, legal? Any changes to that?
We've got no change, but Ellie, that's where the municipal association do used to be, the simple about.
I don't like that either, but as long as it's in there, I was afraid we were gonna do away with them. They provided a lot of good services to the town at a good price. So,
And that doesn't require any votes.
All right. Moving on then.
How come it's, less this year? The chief didn't ask for it, but it just seems counterintuitive that, if we spent 49,000 last year, we're gonna spend less this year.
We had that conversation last meeting, didn't we?
We did. He got a revised price that was lower.
Yeah.
Than the previous year.
Okay.
So that-
locked up on.
We locked up all the good ones.
Grafton County City Prosecutor.
He was good.
So on
Oh,
page,
got it, never mind.
okay. No, page
That,
4.
All right, moving on.
hold it. One second, excuse me. I just was looking at my notes from the last meeting I was at. We had crossed off that dues line, I thought. Somebody said it was a duplicate?
it is.
It moved.
So
Okay.
that doesn't have money in it. It's up above under executive.
Okay, so did, I know it's difficult to hear on Zoom, but did you just cross that off now?
No, it was crossed off, probably the meeting word.
Well, I'm looking at it here on Carrie Ann's thing, at least the one I'm looking at from a week ago, it's still there.
It's
At the last meeting, we decided what to do. I think it was the last meeting, what to do about dues. And when we did this, we got rid of dues down under legal and put it up under executive. And then
Right.
since we zeroed out the one under legal and put it in as, and then we argued about it was 37 or 3,400. And we ended up with 3,400.
It's on page 1, Mike.
Right, I understand, but I guess what I was saying is the spreadsheet still shows the line there though, yes?
what they left you.
I think this will help you track the history because
Right.
it'll only appear once in new executive. And the rest of the history will appear under the legal.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Thank you very much for clearing that up.
Yep.
Thank you.
I was just curious, if we're gonna keep this spreadsheet, if we can cross-reference it in that line on the spreadsheet, so that they can say that it moved. Like we did with the historian, when it moved, so that it should be noted in both places, not just one. Because I couldn't find it until Mike explained it to me. If it had been put in the line, I could have found it. But I had no idea where to look. So I would just ask that if Carrie Ann could, put
In the-
that in there, so that it's moved to executive.
Under the notes.
Yeah, yeah, because there's an empty space in that line, you know.
So just do it.
There's plenty of room to just say that it moved, because you're gonna have to keep that line, because we had an expense in 23 when you issue a comparative statement. Even though it's moved, you still gotta keep it.
Yep.
For this year. Or last year, I should say. So I think that would be nice, because then I wouldn't have to bother people.
All right.
There's 5 under, personal administration. They're zeroed out and they don't recommend having $1 in there because they're everywhere else.
Where is this?
Under personnel administration, there's 5 accounts that are now scattered all over the budget. So I don't recommend putting in $1 there.
Right.
Because it's covered elsewhere.
They're just here for the reference for history, so.
Right.
All right, but how
That's
about,
not true under the public, personal administration, health and safety. And that was changed to $1 at some point in the past because of the boots. But if there's any work that has to be done for health and safety training or anything else, that's what the $1 is for.
So I have a 0 there right now. Are you proposing we put $1?
I move if there's 0, now I go to $1.
Okay,
how about the one below that, Mike?
No, that thing is one of the ones that clearly ought to go.
Right,
That hasn't
gotcha.
been a program in years.
All right,
But there's nothing in here.
so I'll make a motion to add $1 to 690. And change the total to $1,322.76.
second that. All right, any discussion? All right, John?
Yep.
Ellie?
Yeah,
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes,
Mike? Reese?
Yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes.
And I mean, all right.
what are you doing?
what are we doing? We don't know what we're doing, Ellie. We got no clue.
Now we're on planning board. We don't have, I believe we spent a good amount of time on this. Does anybody have any additional changes to that?
Well, do we need $1 in administrative support and printing?
Well, we don't really have any printing costs anymore, that's from the dark ages.
Mm-hmm.
And administrative support, we get it, and somewhere.
Yeah, it's already.
Some, Ashley's replacement is in the budget somewhere, and we use some of that time, but it's not billed to us.
There was no legal fees, we spent $1,700.
We moved that.
They moved that.
I had $1 for printing and is a record, and there is none in Carrier, so does that mean we are not doing it?
I don't think we need a printing account anymore,
Okay,
it's just
I just need to.
quite our normal office expense.
I just don't understand why some things get moved to one executive but not another. I mean, we took some of the legal and put it in executive, and now we've got planning board and put it in.
Well, legal never was in planning board,
Oh,
and it got dumped in this year, and then it got dumped out.
so this was only a one-time thing then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there were any changes, is that correct? That's still 23,675.72.
Yep.
You've got 695,
694, if we don't have.
You would have $1 under administrative support,
Oh, yes, that's correct.
so we need to put $1 under administrative support?
Well, it gives you a line for
I
it.
got it, I'm with you.
Why?
Well, we use it, we just don't, it doesn't show up in this account.
They never did it before, they're not gonna do it now, so.
All right, I make a motion that we put $1 under administrative support, 110, and change the total to 23,695.72.
Second,
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All right, we need to vote. John? Yep. Ellie?
No.
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes,
Mike Reese?
Yes,
Mike Sampson?
yes,
And I'm a yes. All right. Moving on to government buildings.
overtime. 140. We have $1 in there, or no, or is it struck in? What are we doing? No overtime allowed?
Certainly need overtime.
Put $1 in there.
I mean, it's only like 120.
Well, yeah, there's also, I would, before you do that,
There's
Stephen,
fuel
I
and-
also have fuel and property cleanup costs.
well, fuel definitely needs something.
Yeah. Well,
And-
which kind of fuel are you talking about? Are you talking about
Heat,
gasoline? Or are you
Heat,
talking about-
keeping warm.
Well, nobody's been doing the allocation.
Yeah, well, there's all over the place, so
It's all in highway.
we tried a different one. If you look over last year, there was something. No,
No.
there was.
Well, look,
It's been changed.
they zeroed it out on you.
It was not zero last year.
Let's just make it conservative here and say, make a motion to add $1 to 140, 415, 431, and change the total to 151,073.95.
Wait a minute, so that's the way in the fuel?
I'm putting $1 in fuel
Just added $3 to the 3 blank lines.
for now.
So the number you read was what? Not the dollar amount, the account number?
140 overtime,
Yeah, I got that one.
415 fuel,
415 fuel. What'd you put in for fuel?
$1, and 431 for cleanup costs.
Okay. I think that will, no, well, we did do the dollar for cleanup at some point, but that's okay.
Jack, did you have a,
I was just trying to clarify, so the, government building heating oil and gas at 9220. Is then followed by, that. For. That. 415 fuel, that's the blank one.
Right.
Or, that's the one you're putting $1 in?
Yes,
Well, do you have a real number, Jack?
Well, I'm just trying to understand or distinguish.
yeah, between the heating oil and fuel.
Yeah, you got the 411, with heating oil and gas at 9,220 on the bottom of page 4.
Mhm.
So you probably should put motor fuel, but
And I guess I don't know what
Oh.
the fuel line is,
Right,
you know?
It's the gas for the lawnmowers.
the lawnmower.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So you probably should put motor fuel.
Yeah,
Area.
for the lawnmowers is in cemetery, 419510 415.
Well, if it's some government buildings, they ought to be for heat. It is.
So the heating is 411.
right.
When you put them all, William Steel, that's where that fuel is going.
Well, there is no other fuel in the government buildings other than heating oil and gas.
Well, you have to run the lawnmower.
Yeah, but that's under
Under cemetery.
cemetery.
And you have to mow William Steel, and that's where that goes. And you have to mow the common up on Canaan Street, you have to mow the common downtown. You have to mow in front of the senior center.
What would you like for a number, Ellen?
Well, I don't really care, I'm just saying that you have to mow it. It exists, but nobody's ever done the allocation, so I don't really care, because
I know that we changed government buildings fuel to $500.
we have a motion on the floor right now.
Sorry.
so what do you wanna make it? Mike,
Okay, there's a motion on the floor.
I will draw the motion. Change the motion to add a new motion, $1 and 140 for overtime, 500 for fuel, and $1 and 431 property cleanup costs.
500 for lawnmower fuel?
That's,
So it's, yeah, for some type of fuel to be used on Williams Field and all the other town properties.
cemetery for that.
In 2020,
In Centerville in the cemetery, for no one, Williams Field.
in 2022, we had $300 in there. In 2023, we had $1 in there.
But because the
Okay,
donation
Wendell,
is the
I'll withdraw my motion.
I'll withdraw my motion. We have no motions.
No motions on the floor.
Anybody want to make a motion now?
I hope you're keeping track of it.
I'll give it one more chance. I'll try 140 for $1, 415, $1, 431, $1, and a change to the bottom line of 151, 073, 95.
Second,
I'll second it
All
for
right.
discussion.
We have discussion.
all right.
You got another problem, and that's how much the retirement is. That was one that passed, I was supposed to do. Okay. So if you look at. Okay, so right now under retirement, you got $5,548, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so the real retirement on that line is only $1,431.
Okay.
So you take government buildings full-time, that's the only thing that's eligible, you got other changes on that position later on. If you multiply it by 0.0765, the number is $1,431.49. So I would move. Vote on yours first. Well, I don't care how we do it, but that's a fair amount of money. It's $4,000, so I really think we ought to change them.
Which one are you talking about, Mike?
There's a line that says government building salary full-time, that's $11,000. There is, oh, wait a minute, no, I'm wrong, forget it. Changes that number. Okay, so the retirement, the FICA number is wrong, that should be no, that's right. Forget it, hang on, I want to just make one more.
Yeah.
No, it's right, it's,
Yeah, the FICA number is correct.
no.
Yeah.
FICA number is more or less.
Well,
Look at the retirement numbers. The retirement is 13%, okay?
Okay.
So multiply $11,000, that's the only part that's eligible for retirement, times 13%, okay? So that comes out to $1,431.41.
okay, so let's deal with that. I'll withdraw my motion for now on the other one. So let's just, because that's a big number, Mike.
Yeah.
So let's have that conversation. Why do we have 5,548.85 in there?
Is that because
Barry,
Barry split
that's-
with the transportation?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't split it. There's a line in every one of those, so I moved it. So if you want to come back to it, we can come back to it, but it didn't work out. The numbers are not right when you get done. You add them all up for all of those positions, doesn't come out.
Did you check the cemetery and transfer station?
That's what I said. I did all those. You'll see them when we get there. Want to leave it for now? We'll come back.
No, I would like to get that retirement number straightened out somehow.
Okay, well, under cemeteries, you got the same thing. You got 15,000. So again, if you do the 15,000 times the retirement, you got 159 times the 13%, and it's $2,000. That one's okay. Then you get out under transfer station.
Mike, on the spreadsheet, we have nothing under retirement.
I'm just telling you what it ought to be,
Okay,
okay?
It should be that, right?
It should be the $1,400 that I quote.
Carrie Ann, you want to jump in here and help us out?
Look at my formula, okay, and then tell me I'm gonna sack of shit. Wait until you look at it.
We wanna move money around.
That's 11,000. See, that's
This is all of us
11,000.
in one.
Probably more
There's,
over the last couple months.
Government.
They didn't.
So have you lumped them all into that one account? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I put all of it.
one conversation.
What do you want to do, boss?
I'm trying to get it so I can make sense of where the numbers came from. The only way to do it, if we've got it broken up all over the countryside, is to take the dollar amount for government buildings, and my dollar amount is the same as Carrie is, it's $11,011.44. So the only thing I did different was multiply that by the 13%. And that means the retirement is $1,431.49.
Okay, but where in some of the other, these other departments we don't have, that way in which, let's see.
Well, that's why I was going through. So the departments you got are government buildings, cemeteries, and transfer station.
Okay.
Okay.
But we only have to make 3 changes to
So
straighten
make
it
3
out.
changes. Don't forget it, and we'll get there and you'll see what they're like.
Okay. Why don't you make a motion to change the retirement number, Mike?
We haven't voted, do we? vote?
No, I withdraw for now.
Okay, I move that we change overtime to $1, we change, what was the other one? Fuel to $1, did that change?
No, $1 is good.
$1, and then we change the retirement to $1,431.49,
And the property cleanup to $1.
and property cleanup to $1. And change the bottom line to, something. $146,955.59, $956.59. $146,956.59.
All right, just for kicks, would you, Roger, tell us what you think you have over there? Your motion?
I would add $1 to the overtime, the fuel and the property cleanup. $1,431.49 in retirement for a total of $146,956.59
Yeah.
to the, whatever we call those, government buildings.
What was the number again? 14? For the retirement?
1431.49.
Okay, thank you.
Wait a minute. Where did we have the 1431?
Well, get to retire.
Retirement.
No,
Government
yeah,
buildings
we changed
retirement.
it, yes.
It was
We
5.
changed it to 1431.49.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So,
And we added $1 to the other 3 items. And we now have a new total of 146,956.59.
yes.
All right,
Second that motion.
any further discussion? All right, we'll take the vote. John? Yep. Ellie?
Yeah.
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes.
Mike Reese?
Yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
The overtime says BG instead of GB, by the way.
And those that.
Yeah.
Let's go over the buildings. and-
This is like government work. Close enough.
It's probably his actual,
Huh?
it's probably his actual initials.
Oh, wait. That would be funny.
That could be whatever.
All right.
All right, on to cemetery.
Cemeteries. So same issue there. So
What do you got for a retirement number?
The retirement number should be under cemeteries, 2029.96. And that's, and one other change beyond that.
You got burials and, hiding notice?
Burials, you gotta have something for contracts and service. You can't just assume that, you know, 8 foot by
I'm sorry.
6 foot.
Burials, where would that go?
Well, it's in there, it's burials, it's just empty.
Burials, yeah, okay, so,
At least $500 or $1,000 on it, wouldn't it? I think we only had 2 burials last year, and it's not a huge amount, but it's at least $200 or $300.
why don't you make a motion on that and then,
I
Let's pick a
moved
number.
that the burials include $500.
okay.
a motion in a second to change that line.
Oh, I didn't, I moved it, I make a motion for the $500 for burials and $2,029.96 for retirement.
Would you put $1 in advertising?
Why? Yes, good call.
I got 2,340.
Because you keep the overtime in there.
40.
Let me, hang on, let me just,
I added.
I did not include the retirement.
It's a little easier if you could round stuff up to the next dollar,
Yeah.
down to the dollar, up to the
Up to the
dollar.
dollar. Yeah. Not 96 cents.
Losing your
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
It's a thought.
I like your thought.
We're very precise people around here.
So you formulas don't work if you haven't put it in yet.
That's true.
Well, you're looking at that, do we need money in advertising and notices?
Actually, we're required to post it, whether we do it or not, is on the chart, the only piece.
So what do you got for a retirement number there, handsome?
Okay, 2435.95.
Most of the notices now, they allow you to do it, as the website is a replacement for the newspaper. So it doesn't, if you can find somebody to update the website, it doesn't cost you anything.
Right, so we got a number for retirement, and what are we putting in for burials?
$500. The
Just-
total, without the advertising, the total is 50,377.96.
Okay, we're okay with that, we don't want to put in a buck, leave it alone.
What you say, then, like?
Well, push comes to shove, they can always do it under administration.
Fine, I'm okay with it.
50,377.96.
What do you got, Roger?
I have no second on that, by the way. Sampson.
Second.
Forward. Burials 500, retirement 2435.95. The total of 50,377.96. Cemetery. Vote.
Yeah, did you have your hand, Ellie?
Yes, because I'm going back to the issues with the government building. Or, yeah, I guess it's government building.
Well, we'll,
Well, because this is what I was getting at before. You've got fuel in here, the cemeteries, which you've overspent. So if some of that money, the gas is being used on the park, the cemetery should not be being billed for that. And likewise, with the mower, is this mower only gonna be used in the cemetery? And if that's the case, then I'm okay with it. But if that mower is gonna be used in the park,
I don't know, yeah.
be billed for all of it.
Well, we have a motion on the floor, to add the 500 and make the adjustments. We have, your point is noted, Ellie. Do we have any further discussion on that? Yep.
Because it goes back to the same issue.
Well, then I'll call for vote. John?
Right,
Yes,
Yes. Ellie?
yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes,
Mike Reese?
Yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes,
And I'm a yes. All right, we already dealt with the insurance, property liability, made changes, general government, huh?
$1 for books and periodicals, and it's not in there.
Do you want one for supplies too?
might be a good idea.
I have money for supplies. Let me see what she's got. I don't know.
We got blank for supplies.
yeah, I got blank.
$10,000 for, yeah, office supplies.
No, general government.
General government supplies.
Yeah, that's what I got. I'm
Line right
looking at
above it.
periods.
No, the line right
Right
above
above
you.
that,
Well, what the hell's the difference between general government supplies and office supplies?
you got me.
Well, I figured the office supplies covered it.
So we can just leave that blank then.
Yeah,
Okay,
Right, so the ones, so why were you just call it supplies?
well, why don't we just X out the one that says general government supplies?
Well, but we might have other supplies like this custodial supplies and,
Yeah, that'll add about 87 different lines.
no, I'm just saying, why don't you just make it supplies?
I moved to strike the line that says general government. General
610.
government supplies.
second,
That's an account that didn't exist last year.
Right.
second,
Yeah, I moved-
And so, but I think the problem is you found $59.37 you had to stick somewhere and you stuck it here. You know what?
What's the 50?
Yeah, I think somebody coded something wrong.
If you just call office supplies, you can put two things in the same line. Say the problem.
About $59 per hour.
So 610 should disappear.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor, and a second for that.
right, so let's do
Do
that.
we need to? Yeah, I guess we do.
Just
To
do that.
remove one, we do, huh?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. All those, roll call, John,
Yes.
Ellie, we're voting on removing the line that has nothing in it.
6:10.
Yeah, that's what the motion is right now, yeah. Yes, Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal.
Yes.
Mike, Reese.
Yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes,
I'm a yes, okay. So
Make a
then,
motion to add $1 to 670 and change the total to 39,761.
all right. Got a motion and a second, add $1 to that line is blank and seven, what did you say it was?
39,761.
761. And change the bottom line number to 39,761,00. Any further discussion? All right. Have a vote, John?
Yep.
Kelly,
Yeah,
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal,
Yes.
Mike Reese,
yes,
Mike Sampson, Bruce, I'm a yes. All right. Go on to the police department.
okay, so, I spoke with Carrie about this earlier tonight. The amount for FICA is different for law enforcement officers that are active law enforcement officers. And the number that is the correct number for FICA includes a combination of 2 employees with a 0.0765, and the rest of the employees are at a much greatly reduced rate, which I don't have in front of me.
it's 1.45.
Okay, so the bottom line is that that line that says FICA Medicare ought to be $12,250.66. Not 16,000.
What was the number again, Mike?
12250.66. You wanna go out and verify it, let's do it, drop off Wayne, Medicare. Drop off Wayne and Lisa from the lower level FICA. Put them on the higher level FICA. And when you get down to retirement, it's ass backwards. So the high level retirement goes to the police officers. The low level goes to Wayne and Lisa. So that lower, the next one down, retirement goes from 164,740 to 121,250.69.
121, 250,
0.69,
that's the retirement,
yes.
okay.
And are we including overtime in that calculation?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So I counted, hang on, it does not include, I don't think it includes on-call, but it does include full-time, part-time, not part-time for Wayne. It does include full-time, it does not include on-call, but it does include overtime. I gotta go back and look at the map and double check that. I'll know by tomorrow. But I'll double check that. I counted just those parts.
So waiting for both of them. Keep the part-time.
Wayne is a part, well, he's not even for retirement purposes, he's retired, so it's not eligible for retirement. The 2 numbers on my spreadsheet, if you're looking at it, is 0.0765 for regular employees.
Yeah.
And for officers, it's 0.0145. For the retirement is also different, the retirement is a lot more for the.
Introduce lower rate, let's tell it. Take the time to go up to
Do
that.
it tonight, I agree.
I mean, for the officers.
And this we should just, since we don't have.
I don't, it changes every year. I got it in formula, but we can't see it.
So if we don't have the right numbers, then to make changes to what we've already voted on tonight, then I say we don't. And it sounds like, based on wanting to go over the revenue and also having to get these numbers, we're going to have to meet tomorrow night. That being the case, we probably, want to pick a time that we want to finish up tonight, since we all have to come back tomorrow night. So I would propose that we leave the police department until, tomorrow, when we have those recalculated numbers.
We still got highway and.
Unless Mike has any other different kind of conceptual things that we need to think about.
Well, I wanna know about them, but this is where the software comes into play. We got two line items that work together, there's PD equipment and then there's software support and the phone and internet. So the numbers that are currently in there, Carrie Ann's are 32,000, which I don't think we've approved. As a matter of fact, I'm reasonably certain we already reduced that down to 15. And 9240, which I think we have approved. And down under the equipment, which is way down, was 2310. And that one Carrie Ann and I agree on. But the 32,000 hasn't changed one iota, and there's a double count. So I remember, and I have written it down, that we talked about having 17,000, and then didn't include the server, didn't include the server. And the long and short of it was that we came to a concurrence, it was 12,000 recommended, and we went to 15,000, so that should be in the minute somewhere that we went to 15,000, what I'm certain is it's not 32,000. So if somebody wants, if you wanna wait on that one and do it tomorrow night, get us the real numbers. But don't do double counts, and that's what we have right now is a double count, we have it there and we have it down below.
I have notes that we reduced, it used to be 30,400 and we dropped it to 23.
That's the second.
That's
that's down to
the
bottom.
PD equipment,
Yep,
which looks like is reflected in
Yeah, that's definitely.
but there's a difference up on the 32,000 too. You got one line that was 32 originally. And we dropped to 15, and then we have another line that was 46 originally, and we dropped it to 23.
You take it out of both lines.
the.
No, but you can't double it in both lines either, Steve. So the problem is it was doubled in both lines.
Where was the other line?
If you add the two of them together originally, it was a total of, and I wish Bob was here today. Bob, you're not on, right? So in the CIP, we were told that the equipment is the stuff that was in CIP. Good, that makes it easy. Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's not 32,000 plus 46,000. That's a total of $78,000 for equipment. That ain't the number. So we all agree it's the chief's equipment. How much is that? It's in the CIP. Says here in the notes, 15,000. Well, it also says it up above. Dual server upgrade, that also says it up above, at least there's words that are the same. Twin Bridges is up there as well. And I totaled out all of Twin Bridges and it's about $40,000 higher. So this is, I would like to have clarification. I believe my notes say we changed the fifth from what it was, which was 32,000 down. And I argued about getting it down to 17, that was rejected. We compromised it to 15 based on it. If somebody can come in with proof that it's really $70,000, fine, but there is none. If you go and look at the CIP, it's not that.
So that was in October when we first talked
Well,
about
we
that.
dropped it by 22,000 based on the right here.
It's still not 50. If Stephen, if you can come in and show me what the 50,000 is, I'll be happy. as-
Well, we must have there must be contracts with Twin Bridges somewhere. That reflects all these numbers, is that correct?
Yeah, and that's where it split out the 17,000, and then the chief put in his software cost, and I made those notes. So if it changed at any point, I haven't been keeping up with the notes, but I know the Twin Bridges, the
Right,
one that I looked at.
so 17,000 is for the services, the cloud services that run their software,
Okay,
or 15,000 actually. You want it to be 17,000, that's fine. But it wasn't, it was less than in terms of reality, but so I'm happy with 17, I just don't want 74,000.
So I'm just having a hard time following you, like, where's the other, where's the second place that it went?
Yeah, I lost it, so.
It's,
All right,
it's in police, but where's the other?
there's really only two things that are in this whole mess. Whatever Twin Bridges is doing, which is primarily a server, three things. Primarily the server for Twin Bridges. And it dropped from one server, or two servers down to one server. Then the other thing is the chief's equipment that is in the CIP budget. Okay, and I have it, I can call it up if you really want me to. And that needs to go in there. And then the third thing that needs to go in there is the cost of the internet service for the management software for the police department.
Well, in the CIP plan, the 6,500 for the police server.
It's, no, that's the cost, the 2024 budget number is 69, it's the next column,
Okay,
John.
Sorry about that.
6990,
5990.
yeah, and then 8,400, and then 1,500, so that, actually, that number,
But
instead of
8,400 is
23,
the-
should be 16,890, according to the CIP plan. Right, you get that same number, the total for 2024?
16,890, but that's for everything. That's includes the ballistic vests.
Right, and that's what's in equipment. You know, but I
Yeah,
think, I remember, if I remember correctly, I'm trying to remember this because it's the CIP crowd. There was a distinction trying to be made between the equipment and the software.
Exactly.
Right.
So
So
look
I
at the
think that
CIP.
the
that's
CIP
not
is equipment.
So ballistic vests.
It's the server itself
You need to get the actual numbers from Twin Bridges.
on the rest of the stuff. And that 23's got to change. It's got to change to 16,890.
Yeah.
That, right? Yeah, is that right, John? So that would take care of your equipment. That would provide your server. Right, for the
Where the
police
16,890
department.
is the server.
That would include the server. The server itself is 6,990, and then next year, there's gonna be a second server at 15, is that 15,900? So that would be your equipment, and then the software support,
And
I don't know what
that's
that, what makes
the-
up 32,000, I guess it's 17 for a Twin Bridges contract. And the chief's software, so there was a separate software package,
The software package is 15 or 17,
okay?
okay?
Would-
That's the only thing that ought to be up there. If you counted everything in Twin Bridges, but if we get the contracts to look at it.
Yeah.
You don't count Twin Bridges twice.
I hear you, I
In
understand.
the
that.
case of the chief software, like you said, it might be something separate.
Yes,
The chief software is the stuff that's up above, it's a 15,000, and that's based on what the subscription fees are for the internet service that runs the management system for the police department. It's all the dispatch stuff, it's all the reporting, all that crap.
Right.
Is in there.
okay, so what's the Twin Bridges contract, 17,000, what's that?
It's a note, but I don't know, we've gotten copies of it, I think Carrie has sent it
Being
all.
able to call tech support. That's what the contract is. Like, what does the chief do when he comes in and something doesn't work that morning? He calls Twin Bridges. They're paying for software support.
Okay, so
Is
he's
that
got,
in the service contract? Doesn't he still charge you an annual service contract?
He breaks it out by department. So
And
it's like
how
a
much was
contract.
broken out for the fire, for the,
that would be very helpful if we could see the contract. And
Okay.
we could all understand. Can you send that to us and so we can have it for review for tomorrow night?
Okay.
For all the departments, so we can see all the Twin Bridges all at once.
It's, I'll bring you contract.
Thank you so much. That would be fantastic. Then we can have this conversation after we've actually had a chance to review that thing. Okay, good. It's
so
okay.
that's,
Yeah.
that's 4 lines for tomorrow, right?
It does seem kind of odd that we didn't send anything to phone and internet to the police department,
It wasn't broken out before,
so where was it?
it's up under general government.
All right, so we got to review police department
Yeah, so that's, so tomorrow night we got revenue and police department.
so far. Okay.
No, we got the same kinds of problems in the fire department?
No,
No, okay.
you got a problem with the fire department, it's a Medicare line. But it's not a major one.
All right, well, let's move on. I assume nobody has a problem with the ambulance
Right.
contract.
Good.
Okay, move to fire department.
Okay, so, the only thing I had there was, again, FICA, for FICA, for the fire department, it'll be 6655.50.
That's what we have.
That's what we have.
Sorry,
So that's good.
and,
Nothing under retirement, right?
no, I did check out the fire chief's salary, it went up slightly. It's not, it went up a little over the 2.8%, but it's immaterial, so I have it highlighted on mine as pink and fire. But, it really is fine. So everything that was in there for fire chief salary is accurate. And, again, let's see what we got for, retirement. Yeah, those are fine.
What about the miscellaneous and the fire dry hydrant? Are we intending to keep those
miscellaneous-
blank or we
There
want a
was a
dollar?
ruling by DRA, we couldn't have that. So
Oh.
it's a hangover, it shouldn't be in there, it was used at least a couple of times because they wanted a separate placeholder. But legally, it's not supposed to, at least it wasn't supposed to be in there, but those rules may have changed this year, I don't know.
Which one, what, the miscellaneous?
Yeah. And what about dry hydrant?
Dry hydrant, it's subjective, it's supposed to have in the past, so I probably wanted the dry hydrant. Well, and then they didn't use it for years and years and years, they put a dollar in there, so if you're gonna do anything, I put a dollar.
Okay, so I make a motion that we strike 690. And we add a dollar in the dry hydrant. Change the total to 291,079.43.
Second,
The dollar and the dry hydrant?
Yes. Mhm.
And what was the other one?
Striking 690 miscellaneous.
the DRA did,
What about retirement? Is there something in retirement?
There is, it's only applicable to the fire chief, so you go down below,
My line says nothing.
Yeah, right.
oh, then that's a change, hang on,
Third.
it should be 8296.29.
Yeah, it's further down.
It's further down, Mike. It's at 230.
Yeah, we need to do something with that.
It is there,
Yeah, it's there.
So we have two lines.
It's there, and it's.
oh, you mean get rid of the empty one?
Well, we gotta combine them.
No, well, here's the problem, that line goes to the
History.
people that go out and fight fires, and there is no
Yeah.
retirement on it. They're
Oh, I know
private.
that, I know. But we have a line where we spent money on the chief's retirement this year, or this past year, but.
But move the money up to
It
that.
needs to, for some reason, there's two lines for his retirement for this year. See what I'm saying?
Okay, budget, so on the budget, it's only one number, I don't care whether it goes up at the top or down at the bottom.
They need to be put together.
Okay, then I would move, is there a motion already?
There's a motion to add the dollar and then we can talk about the other one.
Okay,
like one of
So
the-
let's vote on the dollar.
Okay. Vote on the dollar.
Vote on the dollar and the removal of that. Okay, we got a
No,
motion.
no removal yet.
Removal of the miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the two.
Any discussion on that? All right, then we'll go ahead and take a vote. John,
yes,
Ellie,
Thing.
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
yes.
Sal.
Yes.
Mike Reese,
Yes,
Mike Sampson.
Yes.
I'm a yes. All right.
What do we want to do about the
I
retirement?
move that we move the, put under the retirement account up at the top. Under 4220103230. Put the number as, $8,296.29.
Yeah, and
And
And, and remove it from the 422011.230 down at the bottom. Which is $8,296.29.
make that a 0.
The only issue I have with that is there are amounts for 2023 in both of those lines.
yeah,
Well, pick one, we're not gonna do two.
We need to add those two amounts together.
No, we understand that. The question is, is that something that we want Carrie Ann to do, that we need to do here? Just for ease, for the sake of ease is what you're basically getting at, so we could,
Check the budget,
Right.
but when we have to submit a comparative
yes.
budget to DRA.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to accurately cover
Yeah.
for 2023.
So Carrie Ann, you may want to think about moving the numbers that the 2023 numbers, rolling those up into the top,
They need to be combined.
and then they'll be combined, basically.
so should the motion be to pick one and merge them?
Well, we've done that now. Effectively, we put the 8,000 up at the top.
We haven't voted on that yet.
Oh, yeah, no, we haven't.
Is there a reason why these two accounts were created?
Yeah, how the payroll system works. So it takes the retirement 230 and whatever the employee gets paid under, so the hourly employees that are full-time that come in and pick up calls at the fire department. The payroll system will calculate the 10-120 retirement amount, automatically generate that 10-230 retirement amount. And then the chief's salary is the 11,225, or no, 11,230. So the payroll system automatically calculates those based on what the full-time employees are.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, so what would you like to do?
So we, actually, so we need the other account, the new account number, not the old one.
Well, we need,
So that
so
way,
it's a problem.
Yeah.
So from my take, listening to that discussion,
Mhm.
the number I quoted you was. You gotta go back and look at the underlying formula in that. But it would have been, I believe, just on. No, I may have already calculated it. I may have gotten it from someplace in order to pull that out. The problem is when you have like Bob Scott, who was working in the highway department. He was a full-time employee. He got retirement of it because he was also on the fire department. So Hugh Weatherby, if he's on the fire department, he's a full-time employee, then his retired, got kicked into retirement. So you gotta know which firefighters had retirement, and because the system is automated. If a seasoned employee that's a full-time employee, they're gonna charge the retirement.
So it sounds like we need to keep both lines in.
yeah, it's better.
Yeah, but what do you got in both lines?
Yeah, we need to put something in here. So in other words, what you're saying is when you have, a firefighter who's also a full-time town employee, he gets retirement on his fire, compensation.
Okay, so you expended for the year
Okay,
based on 12/26 with period for new scores.
okay,
It is $3,376 under fire, under retirement two, down at the bottom. Plus $222.81 on retirement one up at the top. So the two of them together is peanuts. It's $3,500, $3,600. So I would go with those two numbers.
so we need an amount, in both of those ones.
Yeah, so you're gonna keep both one. All right, let's try this.
Where'd the 8296 come from?
Huh?
Because that's higher than what you just said.
No, that's less than what I said. Significantly less.
Sadie? Would you like to comment?
I can make a comment.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
I just
Yeah,
think
why not?
it's interesting that we're, as a budget committee that has given so much pushback on creating its own budget, that you're really allowing one member to create a budget and change line items without even asking Karen Ann. So at this point, when Dawn asked her and she gave the answer, and we have one member saying, oh, well, I'm okay with that. It's a committee as a whole. It's also a committee that's really asking for a lot of transparency that was denied to the budget committee for the last 10 years. I just want to point that out. Things like contracts, warrant articles 24 hours ahead of time, we were never granted that. So I think that perhaps the committee should allow Karen a little more grace. I mean, it's, you're demanding things of her that we were denied. And it's disheartening to see.
I don't know that we were ever denied. Did we ask for them?
When I even asked things like, can I get information on health insurance? The comment was, if you change it, I will quit. I was never allowed to find out about health insurance. There are members of the committee in this room that were there when that happened. So yes, we were denied those things.
Well,
But does that mean that we
I'm
should,
just not-
I'd like to respond to some.
well, hold on a minute.
Because I'm seeing so many things where one person is making movements to change line items and we're taking that at face value. And this is what happened all of these years. We've had this pushback where the budget committee creates its own budget. We had Mike Sampson create the budget for 10 years and he's still here creating the budget. No one's even questioned it.
I'm
But then
sorry,
you
Kate
just-
City, but I'm not buying it.
We've been voting on every single thing.
No, I'm not buying this.
Okay, I don't have to buy it, Sally.
Yeah, I understand. I
But
think
you
it's-
just want to change the line
Everybody
item.
has voted, everybody has voted. So if we wanted to object, and I have.
Yeah, and
You
it's-
know me well enough that if I have an objection, I'll state it.
Yes, and this is my observation, and you know me well enough, and if I have one, I'll say that.
And that's a conversation, if you don't, you can't take every argument as a personal attack. I gained a lot of information from this discussion, because I had no idea
There have been
that
personal
fire
attacks.
department employees, that firefighters were getting retirement because some of them were full-time employees, the thought never entered my head that we had anybody in that situation. So there was a good reason for there to be two lines here, but we didn't, most of us didn't know that.
And I mean, I feel like we do ask Carrie Ann her opinion on things, and we try not to, I would hope that. So for example, for tomorrow night, if it's, we don't wanna, we understand, that that's a lot to ask, say, hey, we want this tomorrow night, and hopefully we haven't asked you too much, but,
The law allows us to do that.
yeah.
That's up to the selectmen to figure out how to manage that, because the law says that we have the right to do that. And
You've also had access to the finance manager at all these meetings, which you never had in the past either.
and she's,
Yeah, well, I think that's enhanced the process, don't you, Steve? I
Was
mean,
that,
it's enhanced the process.
I think it has.
Yeah,
I think Sadie's point is don't abuse it.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I never, anything I've asked for, she's been accommodating. I find out they ask too much, because she's known she's got a lot to deal with, so I just.
Every single calculation she puts in this question, and then it's, can we see the contract? Do you not believe that she can add up the amounts for the contract, or do you want to just see how much
I
we're paying?
think that that's the reason we ask. We want to understand how it works. A lot of people in this room are not accountants. I mean, I understand a lot of it because that's my background, but not everybody does. And like I said, not every question is a personal attack.
And I don't think that, I'm not taking it personally, I think.
We just want the information.
I-
Sometimes we don't articulate ourselves.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the transparency is being asked for by the person that denied it for 10 years. That's what I want to say, I'm fascinated.
Yeah, I just want to say, this is a transition year, and that we're gonna be going to new stuff next year, and it's the first year that things have been broken out from prior years. So it's not like what we're used to seeing, and so the process, to Roger's point, has taken a long time for us to understand it this year. I mean, these meetings have gone long, we've had additional meetings, we've had extra meetings just to try to get used to the new vision. So I think it's an overall good thing for the transparency, even though, it means long nights, and to the extent we can understand it. Because when you see past years, all this money, and then now it's broken out, to wrap your head around that, when it's been a different way for so long, you have to get used to it. And I feel like that's part of been the process this year.
The other thing is we're all dealing with experience that with software too.
For next year, that will be,
So that's part of the issue was why this was being done the way it was that a new thing for us too.
yeah, so we have to understand it, get used to it, so. Mike, you want to respond?
Two things. One, I take exception to what she said. Second is, I make a motion to change the upper one to $250 based on actual expenditures year-to-date. And change the lower one to $3,400 based on actual expenditures to date, both of which came from Carrie Ann, and I'm appreciative of that.
I'll second it, just to get it on the table.
What's the motion?
Well, I guess my question would be then to Carrie Ann. We basically say we should have two separate accounts for calculating the retirement, because we have a fire chief that gets a very specific in your system.
Correct.
And then the other folks are kind of like oddballs depending upon when things happen. So is it preferable to have two separate accounts in your mind?
Yeah, the payroll system's gonna do it whether we budget for it or not. Whenever somebody from the highway department picks up fire department hours, we're gonna pay them retirement and taxes out of fire department. So it should be budgeted. It was minimal, like they've only worked a couple hours. So as you can see, in 2023, we only spent $222
Yep.
in retirement, so it wasn't like it was gonna break the bank if somebody worked there, so I just left it blank.
Right. So, but theoretically, if we had, let's put it, Mike is trying to put some numbers in there, if we had $250 in there, that's where the people who show up on call or whatever, that's where that number would wind up.
Correct.
Okay, So that's good. And then the bottom one with the fire chief, his retirement number, that's based strictly on the salary.
Yes.
So there is is there a formula on the 31,000 for the chief's salary? Retirement number, is it a specific formula?
It was based on his full-time, full salary,
They're not.
and then, so that would have to be corrected. And based on the building inspection being 40%, like, that's why it's off in 2023, so the $3,400 for 2024 doesn't appear to be accurate.
So what would a good number be for fire department chief retirement?
I agreed with Mike's proposed $3,400.
Okay. Good, all right, so the proposal on the table, Mike, is once again, what were your numbers again? 250?
$250 on the upper one, which is 10,230,
Yeah,
and $3,400 under 11,230.
okay, I'll second that motion.
We're on already second.
Oh, sorry, John.
That's okay.
So we have a motion on the table. It's been seconded. We've been discussing any further comments on this?
Oh, yeah.
All right, then we'll go ahead and take a vote on that. And then we'll vote, do we want to try to roll that into,
Let's finish
no,
this.
never mind, let's just finish this. First.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's just do this.
all right,
Yeah, we already did
we
that.
already did that one. That was our last vote.
The bottom line will be 286, 433, 14.
Well, let's just finish this and then.
Yeah, let's finish this one first. Okay, so, we're voting John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Yeah,
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal,
Yes,
Mike Reese,
Yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes,
and I'm a yes. Okay. So that will adjust the bottom line number.
what do you think it is,
what
Mike?
do you mean? I got 286, 433, 14.
That's the number I got.
I move
What's
that
up?
number.
What's up?
286, 413.
No, 433. 14. 14. 286,433.14.
In discussion, I had a question that I don't know where the select board was with regard to replacing that position. This fireman, the fire chief's position.
We are not, but we still have to have money in there to formulate a plan, of how it's broken out. So the only thing I said before, was that because the fire emergency services is capable of moving forward without the chief in the short term. But building inspector, we need to fill quickly, so we're gonna be looking for a part-time building inspectors. That's the only thing we spoke about earlier.
I'm just wondering whether that would change if you did do anything.
No, we
change.
probably won't spend everything next year because we won't have a position filled quickly enough, but
The big
the
health
money should
insurance
still be there.
34.9, maybe there's a 3-month probation period. where you-
Yeah, we may well have to pay a lot more for the fire chief too.
So, yeah, right, probably that's exactly.
That's where I'm going.
Right.
So let's give him the flexibility. What do you think?
Yeah.
So do we have a motion on the floor?
Yeah, we do.
Who made it? You did?
For the total, we're talking here.
Well, I said I moved that.
You moved that question. Okay, and did you second that, Sal?
Sure.
All right, so we got a motion and a second.
what are you voting on again, the bottom line?
Bottom line number, 286,433 .14. All right. Vote, John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Okay.
hey, Stephen.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, that's okay. We're voting on the bottom line number.
Come on, wake up back there.
286,433
Go sleep in the back
.14.
room.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
When in doubt, say yes.
No, when it does it, no.
Yeah. Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes.
Mike Reese?
yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes,
And I'm a yes. All right. So fire department. Set. Moving on. Building inspector, anybody have any changes to that?
Well, we got a bunch of blanks in there. Dues and
No, it's-
subscriptions, tools, mileage and tolls.
there's at least 3 $1 items.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, those are the-
All right, so
Tools and subs, tools and
You want to make a motion there, Michael?
so moved.
make a motion to add $1 to -560, -680 and 802 to, and also change the bottom line number to,
24,839.
so you made a motion and I'll second it. Any further discussion? All right, we'll vote. John?
Yes.
Ellie?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes.
Mike Reese?
Yes,
Mike Sampson?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. All right. Moving on. Emergency management. Again, we have another blank there. Is that intentional or?
Theoretically, is where the generators are gonna go, and I believe that that's currently the zero at this point.
Is that your understanding too, Sal? Because I remember you.
Emergency management, yeah, I don't know. Stephen, Harry, and somebody help out here. This is, we need, that's the $4,100 service contract.
I'll make a motion to put the $4,100 in there and get at least a service contract.
Okay,
Please.
right, I'll second.
Emergency management.
Under
Under
610, under
emergency
emergency management.
And
Can we put a note for, say, for generator contract? Is that what?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, cause that line's been used for similar purposes with that.
What you call it, equipment contract, it's a little more broad.
And to the point that Jack brought up last night, I'd actually like to make the number 5,000, because I would expect that the first call, we're gonna have some service
Okay, let's do that then.
Generators are one.
that's all of them.
The generator itself, it's.
It's for the service, it's for the service contract.
That the under generator. Yeah, government building. Emergency management has nothing to do with maintenance of the generator.
No, it's basically have to use it.
Yeah, so isn't the highway department in the town office.
They don't.
No, well, they don't have it, yeah, but everybody else does.
Yeah. Well, John Hennessy he was watching over them. One of my conversations, he said, "Oh, yeah, I just checked one of them and I had to put some oil in it." So he was doing it, I don't.
I mean, we can move the money around afterwards, but I think we need to get it.
So who uses,
That's there.
so who uses this generator? Is it the emergency management, the fire and police that use
It's
it?
this building,
Okay,
I think highway has one.
so if they have a contact on their generator that goes under the highway then?
No,
But I don't see.
One contract, that contract sells for all the generators directly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's an emergency service, really.
It is, yeah.
Don't only use it. Okay, so it's all in there, everything.
And so that number, rather than, did you, change your motions?
5,000.
I agree.
In 2022, we had a budget of 6,000 in that line, and we spent 3,500. Any idea what that was?
No.
What year was it?
Oh,
2022.
I believe that was for the emergency management plan. We have to pay for the cost of the match program, no, minimum. The match is labor costs. We did have a service contract on generators for a year, and I think of our year, we need to do energy, you know, if you use a generator.
Yeah.
Then you got an emergency, and you got them in water and sewer, you got them in fire, you got them in the ambulance, you got them in police department, you got them in highway garage. So they're all necessary in an emergency.
Why did you don't double count them? I'm okay with it. But it's not in another place. Why?
All right, so Stephen made a motion. Did anybody second it? You second, Mark? Okay. Any further discussion on putting $5,000 in emergency management?
And I'll change the bottom line number to 103, 459 for the same motion.
78, yep.
Any further
103,
discussion on that?
103,459.78.
All right. Take a vote, John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Yeah,
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal.
Yes,
Mike Reese,
yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
You want me to itemize that motion for generator service contract or not?
I think given that this is the first year we've had this global thing, being able to track it back to some home would
Yes.
not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
So,
All right, on to mechanic. Anybody have any changes there? No. All right. Highway,
We
highway,
don't have, I'm sorry, mechanic, we don't need anything in, mechanic part-time, mechanic overtime.
Because we haven't made a formal position for that, it's still a temporary trial that we're working with there. We didn't put a money in, we'll just.
How about
It's still
one?
getting charged to the highway. That salaries,
Do you want $1?
No,
Yeah, we should have $1 in it,
yeah, I
that's
think-
fine.
I move that we put $1 in for part-time and overtime.
yeah, I think-
and bump the total up to.
How about equipment, do we want to remove the line that says equipment and combine it and say tools and equipment?
Tools covers equipment.
Yeah,
Tools covered it,
yeah.
so we can remove line 740 as well.
The history.
Sorry, yeah, okay, so what's the motion? $1,
$2,
So,
120 and 140.
okay, got it?
and then at the bottom line too.
238,696.44.
So who made the motion?
I got 3-1 in my sheet.
Well, I got 238,696.4. Let's get else with 71,960,
Yep,
1,
One.
1, 13, 138. I'm not doing change.
05,
Well, the change is where the error.
All right.
05.
13, 138.05.
Yep.
120.89.
yep,
55.04.94.
correct,
97.36.32.
yep.
No,
What is it?
19.
19 cents?
19 cents.
97, 36, 19.
Okay.
19,000,
No, 19 cents.
19 cents.
9,000.
36.19 is what's on this spreadsheet.
on
The
my-
Oh,
formula
that's-
comes out at 32, but let's make it 19. So-
All right. Okay, gonna make that 19. See, the formula comes up with a different number.
Okay.
So,
How about the next one? Just to double check.
Yeah.
The next one, 24 cents?
go ahead.
Yeah.
125, 24, 509, 1,600, 25,000, 80,000, 8,000, 8,000, 15,000.
Comes to 696.71.
Yep.
696.71.
31.
41.
That's what I took.
All right,
Paid $2.
so did somebody make that motion?
Sampson made it, maybe a second.
Need a second? I'll second it.
Right.
Any further discussion? All right. Vote, John,
Yes.
Ellie,
Yeah.
Stephen,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sal,
Cop, yes,
Mike Reese,
Yes,
Mike Sampson,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right. Any issues with the first part? Dealing with the highway road agent salary? All right. Next section?
I have questions about the overtime. Specifically, why is it so high? We spent 24,000 on it for the year. And we worked it fairly.
I feel like we discussed it. We discussed this at that, and I forget what the explanation was.
Way over time.
it was adjusted down from 47,000.
yeah,
Yeah, but still, I mean, 24 versus 79.
Well, we short a person so that we have to do more hours.
Short two people? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was,
we short a person.
yeah. Well, according to the minutes, the number 39.8 was approved by all voting committee members.
But I think I think there's also an issue because we've got people like you that work in multiple places, so. How do you decide where to bring work overtime? How do you decide what department to charge it to? You wait till the end of the week and see where it is, or do you do it proportionally? I think that was part of the issue.
So I think that,
He works for the mechanic, he works for the highway, he works fire,
Very.
He filled out his time sheet. so we know what department he's working in when the overtime incurs.
Now, let us, I mean, that is the fair.
Mike, do you want to make a motion to change that number?
You know, to address the issue of why we have vacancies, yeah, we have vacancies. But we also fund the vacancies, so if there's a vacancy, there's no money, so if you need more overtime, take it out of the full time, because you're not spending. I just think that if you've got a historical record,
It's full-time pay, it's time to have.
Well, we discussed this at a prior meeting.
We've had it,
and that's-
right. So
that's
if you
what
want to make a
voted on.
motion to change the
So-
number now, make your motion, let's go.
okay, I move that the number be changed to 39,800 to 27,
Oh, so,
10% higher than what was.
I'll ask for a second.
I'll second.
All right, second discussion, any further discussion on that?
I think we should leave it at 39,800.
All right. I agree with Sal. So I guess we'll go ahead and take a vote. John?
Well, I guess I'd like to discuss it then.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
And the question is, can anybody justify why it is substantially higher than the expenses this year?
We look back at the last couple seasons overtime usage based on the new pay rate. I based it on hours times the average pay rate in that department, which last year we had drastic increases through the whole department. They've got $1 or $2 a raise per person. So we needed to reflect that in the overtime. Fortunately, this year they haven't worked a lot of overtime because it's been a warm October, November, December. So that's why the 2023 budget looks the way it does. But we still need to be prepared for the typical winter season.
And the full-time is low expenditure versus budget
Yeah,
because you don't have the people.
yeah, well,
Which theoretically should lead to more overtime.
Split.
But the expenditure to date is 320,000. And next year in the budget, we've got 370,000.
We have open positions right now, no?
So it is a big jump.
well,
If we can get it, great, but
if you're still budgeting less for full time than you budgeted for last year, that doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna budget for the people, for the open positions, they should be that amount plus more for the salary increase. That doesn't make any sense. Unless you allocated some of you to the mechanic. But that still doesn't beg the question, because you said you didn't want to budget him for the mechanic. So if you don't want to budget him for the mechanic, then you have to budget him for the highway. And I think something's missing there.
Sadie, did you want to make a comment on that?
I have a question. So initially we had an employee that was split between highway and water, and then they were slated to go full-time water. Did that get changed, or is that?
We're not gonna backfill that position.
I don't think that's fine.
So.
The highway, then that changed, but we were splitting that salary.
And that's correct, because that position was 25% highway and then 75% split between water and sewer for 2024 was the plan. So that's what the numbers reflect.
Do you have any other questions, John?
no,
Any other discussion on
Can
that?
I just get 1 second?
Yeah.
I just wanna. 3, 4, 6. I can just do this.
There's a motion on the floor to
Change the overtime.
change the overtime from,
39,800 to 27.
Yeah. to drop to 27.
Just do 1 second.
I just got a question on the miscellaneous. You said
It's good for the-
Yeah, we're
it's good for the-
just focusing
Right,
on
so, but in 2023, we had budgeted 371, 761 for the positions and the overtime. In 2024, when you add those up, you're budgeting 374, 042. It's less than $3,000 increase. Just for numbers. doesn't seem like it's odd to me.
All right,
So
so
we're
there's
just voting on the 27,000.
yeah, motions on the floor. Do we have any further discussion on that? All right,
Yeah, just kind of, so if you add the same thing using the same logic. You end up with, it's 300,000 actually expended today.
I understand. Expended, but we've been short people, what we're saying. Right, that's the idea, is we've been short some folks. So we haven't spent as much money.
If you look at it again next year, see how far off.
I understand. Yeah.
so we'll move this and take a vote. John,
Yeah. I will, vote for it.
okay, voting to reduce it to 27. Ellie? Stephen,
No.
Mark,
No.
Sal,
No,
Mike Reese,
No,
Mike Sampson,
Yes,
and I'm a no. Okay,
So do we have to,
2 yeses and
Yes, correct.
if it's an out, I'm the only one that's an outlier.
anything else under this particular thing? Should we have any money in highway miscellaneous, a buck?
again, you were not supposed to have miscellaneous.
Oh, we're not, okay.
so let's remove it.
But what if
Oh, wait.
Well, we got a
right,
history
right,
there.
right, that's right. Okay, so let's not do anything with it.
Thank you.
$10,000 on this song? This maintenance, who knows what that is? It could be doing
Something that got posted there.
yeah, we don't know if it's something we need or not, maybe it should have gone somewhere else.
All right. So there's no change to that bottom line number then.
Wait a minute, I wanted to talk about supplies.
Okay, go ahead.
So we budgeted 20,000 for last year, we spent, 14,000, we want to go to 30. I guess I'd like to know the logic behind it. And
Carrie Ann, you
to
got
that end, I would vote to change, I would move to change it to 20. Yeah, we spent 13, we budgeted 20 last year, we didn't spend it, we spent 14, I'm sorry. And now the proposals go to 30, that's why I'm moving to change it back to 20.
Right.
You feel free to vote yes in 3 minutes.
Oh, I mean, this is in my mind, sorry, that would be the same. We've had this conversation, we went through this, we had this, and we approved the budget for. What was the logic behind the increase in the number? Carrie Ann, do you have any recollection on how that?
I note of it, I would have to go dig up Bob's
Yeah.
original submission to me.
Mhm. Yeah,
I don't remember what Bob said.
And I did accept it out when we talked about.
Mhm.
Maybe we should have the meetings in front of us,
Hmm,
because we had the whole conversation before, probably.
I'm pretty sure we did. I just don't
It's also
recall.
front
Highway?
for sure.
If you guys remember the conversation, just in case things I'm fine.
You probably brought it up, I think. Without
It-
it in front of me, I can't say one way or the other.
Yes, Mike?
well, it was 30,000, 30,000, 34,000, 36, 32,000, 26,000 in the past. It was just the last year that was the anomaly where it was down. I remember we had the conversation. I honestly don't remember the specifics, but we all agreed on the 30 at the time, as I recall.
yeah, I'm inclined to, that you mentioned that, Mike, I think that's probably what it was, as we saw the history.
I'm thinking that's what it was. I can't swear to it.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's hard to remember all these crazy things.
But Bob got asked about that and he talked about it. I just don't remember the specifics. I don't have my note.
I bet you you're right, though. I think it has to do probably with the historical.
Plus increases and stuff. Yeah.
Probably something we advised from last year, and it's catching up.
So, Mike, you have a motion that you made, Mike?
Yeah, I'll go on the record, I moved to change that number from 30 to 20,000.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? All right, we don't have a second. So the bottom line will stay as it is.
Right, move on.
Next highway section.
The 60,000 wasn't in the budget before, I have no objections to the 60,000. It was pulled out
Yep,
recently.
yeah, that was the we approved the number pending that number in the, I believe in the minutes.
I really believe.
So we're gonna have to approve this new number?
Oh, we were waiting to see what it was. gonna be,
Yeah,
is that
I'm
what it
pretty
was?
sure, yeah. Section of the highway,
pending-
this,
pending,
yeah, it's,
contract.
there was a motion to approve
Yeah.
535 discussion, this area total is pending. Subject to the amount of and cost of sand, which we now have is 60, is that right?
Correct.
Yes,
So I saw it.
so I think we need to have a motion to approve the new number at 595.
I'll make a motion
Oh, it'll be, oh, yeah, yep, yep.
to accept the bottom line number of 595,000. That there's no winter saying 60,000, which is there.
Okay,
You wanna put some dollars in the missing lines? The blank lines?
the book mowing brush.
Don't need it for the block grant funding, right? We don't need that.
Block grant funding, you can't do anything, that's what the state says it is.
Right.
And change it.
You wanna put $1 in for mowing brush?
Yeah. Sometimes the equipment breaks down, you have to hire.
Mowing brush a buck.
You have a question more?
Yes, Phil.
I guess just an explanation of the. An explanation of the notes. I'm apparently missing part of. Because. Trying to figure out how these numbers correspond with this.
Which,
There's a 43,000,
The note,
20,000.
the notes weren't updated. The notes haven't been kept up to date.
Okay. When it says excavator or something, but I can't.
that's all
Since excavator.
Yeah, Philip, the rest of that says, it says closed pit, 43 wages, 20K crushing, dozer, excavator not needed. Those were just,
Okay,
there was just,
and
Well,
then
we
the
would-
other thing was
sorry.
road brush mowing, how we currently are more currently up and running.
you'd have to about that. So I think he's doing it, it's just, we had one that was broken, you recall, Jack, right?
I don't.
Yeah. It was-
Right.
I don't know.
They told us that they weren't gonna use the old one anymore, just the one. Correct, is what we were told.
So we don't need $1, or should we put $1 in just for kicks?
It's fine to put it on.
Right, so. What's the motion?
To accept, to add $1 to mowing brush and change the bottom line number to 595,001.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna propose, at least question 2 other items, but I'll vote for this motion. So I expect a vote on the other 2.
Okay.
Okay,
I guess I have a question, or part of the discussion. So I missed the last meeting, unfortunately. I apologize, but the winter sand, that was decided then? I thought we,
We did not have a number in there. We're putting it in now, Mike. So we have to, the plan is to purchase and not use our pit sand.
so you made, the select board's made a decision to close the sand pit, I guess?
That is correct. We have
Okay.
to purchase it.
The last meeting I was at, that was up in the air. We had somebody kind of give us an assessment.
Well, we have enough sand put away. We're gonna use it through this winter because we already have it put up. But we're not pulling anything more out of it.
Okay,
This is really looking at the fall of next year.
okay. Thank you.
yes, Mike.
Yeah,
So we're gonna vote on this before we move on.
sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's right, we have a motion. So let's vote on this, which is add the $1 and adjust the bottom line by $1. John?
Yep.
Ellie?
Yeah.
Stephen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Sal?
Yes,
Mike Reese?
Yes.
Mike Sampson?
Yes,
And I'm a yes, okay.
Jeez.
Further discussion on this highway section? Yes, Mike?
yeah, I'm nickel and dime, on the other hand, the budget needs nickel and dime, so. We did spent a lot of money this year on culverts, so we spent $14,000 in culverts. You look at the history, you already know, we need loads of culverts, we got a lot of culverts. But now we're going up, in front of the fact that you don't have that type of road building project, so we're gonna plan for that year. We're gonna go up from 14,000 to 20,000. So I fully in favor of staying with the 14,000, but I don't see the justification for going up to the.
I don't remember anything about this.
Take
Anybody?
a look at the historical.
No, I see that, yeah, gotcha. Does anybody remember when we had, Bob in here, why he was looking for 20? Harry Ann, do you have any recollection? Your notes anywhere? That's not culverts. Culverts, of course, the top topic of the day. Why he wanted 20? And we don't have any major projects that would require culverts.
Well, if he's gonna do a lot of road work this year with, because the warrant article passes. He's gonna be digging on a lot of roads, he's gonna find a lot of culverts that need help.
Okay,
Mark, did you have a recollection?
I was gonna say about the increase in size of the culverts too.
Yeah.
And that's gonna make the price for the culverts go up.
Good point.
okay.
I mean,
good.
just to do the turnpike 2 miles, we replaced 35 culverts,
Yeah, no,
so.
that's a good point, because are we having to increase the size because we get bigger storms now, so that we need bigger culverts to carry it? That's a good point.
Yeah. Good remembering there, Mark.
Did I hear right? You said it was 35,000 for culverts?
No, 35 culverts.
And I'm in South Road. we did too.
But we did all those for 14.
No, because we had some in stock and
We don't want the roads to wash out, so it makes sense to do action better.
All right,
Do
so
we have a motion?
you,
Do we have a motion on that?
No, that was just a question,
Okay,
because you've already voted the
I
budget.
thought I moved it, but I'll move it.
that's what I wanted to make.
I'd like to I moved to reduce it from 20,000 to 14,000.
Ask for a second.
do we have a second? All right, we don't have a second, so,
And I got one more field exercise, and that's under fluoride and dust control. So, we budgeted 12,000. And we spent 10,000. And we wanna go to 20,000. Now, I know we need fluoride.
I think that's a change of management style and, we're getting complaints. We had, 2 roads that were, in reconstruction, South Road and, Turnpike. And we probably should have done better control of, dust control and then the complaints that we weren't doing enough. We didn't have the money to do it, so we didn't put it down. So.
I think I have a recollection of this, a little bit of this, where he said the cost of chloride has gone up dramatically. Is that anybody's?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark? Yeah, I think that was what I was recalling, why he was looking for more money there.
Well, does it make a difference because of the crappy stuff that we're getting out of this?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't hold up as well.
Yeah, well, cause that stuff.
Silty roads.
Doesn't that stuff like, if you, like,
It's that vicious cycle, put bad dirt on it, and then everything else that you treated with
just goes
away.
all over the bushes. Yes, we have a motion. Did you make a motion, Mike?
Yes.
Nope.
Are you gonna?
Nope.
Nope, okay. Hey,
It's a legitimate argument.
no.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Moving on.
Let me just get these two out of the way, and then I think probably, 8:45.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time on transfer station twice now. I don't
Yeah,
know if there's much more we have to do on that.
Well, you keep going then.
Yeah.
Keep going.
What time is it right now?
It's 8:43.
Jesus. Yeah, I know, right?
It's almost time to bed.
Okay, so anything on bridges?
Hey, I have something I should bring up tonight because, we're working on the warrant articles that were in highway rated.
Okay,
I think CIP, the selectmen, and majority of this group here have agreed on our proposal for the equipment, the 4 pieces of equipment. I know there's been some discussion back and forth between leasing and taking out a loan for that equipment. So I'm just putting a proponent, we ran it by Sean, the lawyer. He said, we originally tried to write the warrant as lease or loan. And he said that there's different rules for the two different things. I know the lease is slightly more expensive, but the lease allows for an exit clause. So if we get 2 years down the line and we realize that it's the wrong, we can turn that equipment back in and be out of it. Okay, we have, and because of that, the voting standards are different. If we lease, we don't need a 60% major majority in the warrant for the town.
Good.
If we do it as a loan, we're gonna need the 60% margin, and we certainly risk the chance of
Yeah.
it getting voted out, so.
That's because of their state clause, right?
Yes,
That's what makes it different, right?
that's right.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
So, I just want to make it clear that, the plan is to rewrite the warrant as a lease. I just, I want you guys to understand why we're doing it that way. So take it off the line, so.
Good, good thinking.
Thank you for
Good
the
work,
information.
good work, Stephen. Thank you. That's helpful.
I didn't know we could do that.
That's a big difference.
And we don't have to have a public hearing ahead of time because of the escape clause as well, so.
Oh,
Okay.
even better.
It's a simple majority.
Nice, I love it. Love this
Simple
journey.
Mike,
Yeah, at one point, we talked about putting $1 in under the lease as a placeholder. It's up to you. I don't,
No, because we're still looking at this, but we're not gonna budget it in. We want people to be aware of that.
It's in the warrant article, it's already budgeted, as long as it passes.
so what do you all see as the bottom line under highway at this point?
You don't need it. You'll need it next year.
So what is the bottom line?
The dollar.
595,001.
And the one up under, just want to double check under the upper highway is 831,053.51.
Yes. And the one above that is
Which
salary.
salary are you talking about?
Second,
The
second.
upper one.
Yeah, he was just confirming.
One
numbers.
that's got, manpower cuts.
I think our productivity is slipping, so.
We're getting there. Just get through bridges. and
Yeah,
streetlights
bridges
then we'll
and then
call it a night.
payment, do we have anything on that? No,
Bridges, no, but street light,
street lighting?
we did talk about that.
Yep.
The question was, why is it so low? Because we only paid 17,000, so why is it 25?
Well, I know the other night when we were sitting around my dining table, they came around at 10 o'clock at night and replaced 2 of the streetlights in the block because they weren't working.
Yeah.
So I think it was because I don't know how long they've been out. I'm pretty impressed with it.
Well, they finally they actually do file about the one in front of the closing court, because that was out for a long time. I sent an email on it, because I thought maybe.
So I think they just went around. I don't know how long these have been out, but I think we've gone somewhere this year without.
But those aren't meters. Do they
They're not
really,
metered, they're just.
do they give you credit?
It's a flat fee.
Yeah. So if they're burned out, they still need to charge you the same amount.
I don't know. I didn't just have thrown an idea out there.
But most of them aren't, they charge us for that.
Usually it's more than 17,000, so I'm not making a motion on it. It is strange that we only spend 17, I think it probably is gonna be more realistic to be around 21 or 22.
We already voted on this. I made a motion to vote on it before, and I make a motion to delete it. We voted on it once already. And when I.
Sampson,
Give it a motion.
she seconded it. It's right here.
Yeah, okay. See ya.
25,000.
We're fine with that. And that's it.
All right, I think we're gonna call it, so tomorrow night, so we are gonna meet tomorrow night. Same time, same place, we got through quite a bit, and we don't have to go back through. Starting with the library again, but we do, tomorrow night I have, we'll finish up. We'll start right up, go over transfer station again, and then a few remaining. If we want to make any changes, we'll want to go over the revenues, in conjunction with the, water, sewer, and emergency services, and I think that should about do it, right? And police, right?
The three for police department.
But I want to focus on that, and I want to say, we've gone through this a couple of times now, and I don't want to start going back and reopening discussions we've had multiple times on other things tomorrow night, so I want to keep it focused. Because at some point, we have to be done with this, right? So, yeah, so we have tomorrow night, we're gonna come.
I mean, as much fun as it is hanging out with you guys, okay.
Yeah, but in fairness, I asked,
What's that?
when we went through these, I asked if we could defer them.
Oh, no, I know, Mike, this isn't this isn't an attack, this is just a joke about how we're coming back tomorrow night and we're gonna,
Let's focus, let's
Yeah.
Groundhog Day, there you
I
go.
don't have much left anyway.
No,
no, I know, we got through a lot.
yeah, but we gotta do revenue, we need the police numbers, so let's see if we can get any help on that.
John and then Ellie.
I'd like to thank Mike for the work he does digging into these numbers. He's got the stomach to do it.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of experience that he has, and he gives a valuable product. And I'd like to thank Carrie Ann for putting up with us crazy people. And all the work she does, and we really appreciate your efforts.
Yes,
Yeah, and I would like to thank Dave for doing a good job.
Yep.
I was chairman for 8 years and I never got one compliment, so, I'm gonna put it out there that I know it's a hard job and I give you a hard time, but I do it out of love.
Thanks, Ellie.
okay.
The reluctant chairman, that's what I tell myself. You look around and nobody's,
Yeah, you got the.
Get their hands up.
Vice is also reluctant. Get the reluctant people standing up here.
So you make a motion to.
so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
So who made them? All right, Mike and second, all right, good. All those, well, I guess we have to do a roll call vote on this one,
There
so,
you go.
John,
I'm not gonna say anything.
Ellie,
Staying.
I'm a yes, Stephen, Mark, Sal,
Yes.
Mike Reese,
Yes.
Mike Sampson.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
I guess I will.
You changed his mind.
8:51.
6 o'clock tomorrow night?
Yes,
sir.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.